First of all, just off camera, we'd like to say thanks to our #1 fan, Chase.
Hi.
He's over there. Trust us.
And if
All right.
you're watching our previous shows, we refer to him quite often. So
Yes, because he is always here. So today is actually really exciting because we are going to be brewing our own recipe. And by our, I mean Steve's, because he did all the work.
that's
Pretty much.
It's still our recipe.
All the work.
Yeah. So
I'm just like a writer, freeloader. My job is just to look good. Fortunately, I'm good at that.
yeah.
All right, so oh man, where's the tome? You want to show them the tome?
Not yet, because I haven't written anything in it yet. It's all written on my
Just 'cause
pad.
maybe it's just okay. All right, we bought a really cool tome.
It's just a hardbound notebook that I'm going to use for keeping notes and journaling on everything we do. So now that we're going to, more often than not, probably start brewing our own recipes.
Yes.
But we'll always go back to old favorites. We still have plenty of favorites we like, I'm sure.
I like all.
Newcastle Clone We Do is a good one.
That's my wife's.
Yeah.
But I love it too.
It comes out good. Yeah.
It does. Actually, that one came out really good. We tested that today. And we were discussing just the other day how we always sample our beers when we rack, and then again when we put them in the keg, just kind of sample them. So they're flat, of course, and room temperature or whatever. But we were discussing how you can kind of tell if you did a good job right at that point. And so we had one where it's like, well, hopefully once it's carbonated, it'll be better.
Right.
And it was. Wasn't the most amazing beer ever, but it was at least drinkable.
Still drinkable and enjoyable.
We still call it beer, unlike that Goes, which we've decided is not
That's
beer.
not beer.
Because we like all beer, and therefore if we don't like it,
It's not beer.
it can't be beer. It just can't be beer.
Flawless logic, right? Right.
Absolutely. All right, so let's rock and roll.
All right. Well,
Tell them about your beer. Tell
we
them what it
haven't
is.
named the beer, and we discussed this yesterday. We're gonna wait and name the beer after we have the initial tasting, or at least maybe till it's carbonated, even so we get the full effect. We're gonna kind of use whatever comes to mind based off the flavors that we find out this beer is gonna have. So, but the style is an English strong ale, or sometimes called an English old ale. So it's gonna be roughly anywhere between 7% and 8%. So it's gonna be stiff. It's not gonna be hoppy like an IPA or a double IPA, but should be yummy though.
I think so.
Right?
Is it gonna be brown?
It'll be golden.
Golden? So it's gonna be, well,
It'll be kind of like
Yeah,
that frosted glass.
kind of like this color?
Kind of golden brown. It's not gonna be dark.
It's not gonna be dark.
I mean, there is some chocolate malt in there, but not. I don't think enough to really make it too dark.
Which I was told chocolate malt doesn't make things chocolate. I was kind of sad about that.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's a coloring agent more than anything.
Maybe we could just add cocoa to beer once. Not like sweet
Probably
cocoa.
could.
I'm talking like baker's chocolate.
raw cocoa. Yeah.
Yeah, baker's
baker's
chocolate.
You probably could. I'm sure.
I
there's
tasted
recipes out
one
there.
beer long ago, back when Terry was still way over on the other side of town. And anyhow, this guy, he added like coffee and baker's cocoa to the beer at some point. It was amazing. It was thick though. I mean, it was like thick, like drinking hot chocolate.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of those kind of chocolate style stouts we have add cocoa in it at some point in time. Maybe during like racking or something, they put cocoa in there. Raw kind of cocoa. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've never made a chocolate beer, so.
Obviously, that's someplace we need to go, but not too chocolate. Not like that chocolate chip cookie we drank.
Yeah,
once.
that was too
Oh,
sweet. It wasn't
revolting.
enjoyable.
It was like drinking a chocolate chip cookie. It just wasn't right. It was.
Yeah, beer is too sweet. It just seems like it's counterintuitive to what you expect beer to taste like.
Although there was that one beer that we had that, what was it? Double Bock or whatever. It had a really plain Jane name.
Right.
Whatever brewery it came from. And anyways, that was super sweet to drink by itself. But the next day, my wife, it was like on my wife's birthday, so this must have been back in March or sometime. Anyways, she likes carrot cake, right? So we got her a carrot
I
cake.
remember this one, yeah.
Yeah, and I had that beer with that carrot cake, and it was amazing. And I'm not
It's a dessert beer.
I'm not a food pairer guy, I'm just like, I will drink beer and eat chocolate chip cookies and drink coffee and water all at the same time, right? Just kind of browse on all three of these things. My wife is very much, it's like orange juice goes with cold cereal, and coffee goes with bagels, and garlic bread goes with spaghetti. She has all these rules about eating. It's very hard to eat in my wife's world. Very hard.
Doing it wrong.
You will not get fat in my wife's world. It won't happen. It's like, we can't eat today. Why? There's no salt. Actually, that's probably a good one, but still, something.
Right.
Pick an esoteric thing. There's no paprika. It's like, okay, so we make it without paprika. No, we can't. We'll call it something else. No, we can't. It's like, all right, we starved today. Yay.
Nice.
Fortunately, being an American, there's I could probably starve.
Plenty other indulgences.
Well, I was gonna say I could probably starve for quite a few days and be all right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the beer. Are we not done yet?
Well, there's a chip in my glass.
That chip's been there forever.
Rotate. Okay, that'll be more comfortable.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. No, so what are we drinking?
We are drinking
From a chip glass.
An IPA. It was a recipe from the guys at our brew supply store. One of their seasonal recipes. This is a session ale. It's a kind of a lighter IPA. Excuse me. They called it Southern Cross IPA because the hops are from New Zealand, and so the Southern Cross references the constellation you can see, like if you're down in Australia or in the Southern Hemisphere. But it's not super like piney hoppy,
No, it's not not ultra hoppy.
Has a nice clean finish, I think.
Closer to a pale ale than an IPA.
But it's a session ale, so it's a lower ABV. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I don't think it's more than like 5.7. So
yeah,
as opposed to like IPAs, which are usually over 6.
It's good. We consider it success.
It was good. Oh yeah.
I'm just going to let you talk for the rest of the broadcast. I'm just going to sit here and drink my beer.
And we love nothing better to broadcast when we're drinking our own beer, because this whole show is about brewing beer.
Yeah, we brew our own beer.
A lot of times we broadcast drinking off the shelf beers because we're out of home brew, but this time we're prepared.
We should be good, man. I got 10 gallons at home.
Tell everybody what's in the in your setup right now.
Oh yeah, well, so at home right now, I've got just today, because we racked the Saison, which was interesting. So I was really expecting, I don't know, maybe because I read a lot of articles about farmhouse beers and lambics, and for some reason my mind
and stuff, right?
lumped Saisons in with that.
Okay.
Because they're often called a farmhouse beer, which is, I don't know if that's supposed to be slightly insulting or if it's supposed to be whatever, but it's a style. Anyways, so I was expecting something really sour and bitter, which, by the way, we should try a bitter. Have we ever done a bitter?
I don't think we have.
We should at least try one. Hopefully it's not as horrible as that goes. Right. And I got to tell you, I think part of the reason that goes wasn't great is because of the one we chose.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like this margarita beer. It's like, you can't do that.
Although, your sister-in-law had that other one.
Right.
And that wasn't fantastic either. Yeah. So maybe.
Ooh, excuse me.
Maybe we should just stick with the fact that goes is not beer.
Not our style.
Yeah, not our thing. But it would be interesting to do a true bitter.
Right.
And you just gotta be careful, and just the trick is trying to find a beer that actually is that beer. Because a lot of times I notice you go into the stores and like you talk with Greg down there. Right. The specialty beer store. Greg's one of our favorite people too, because he sells specialty beers, right? Stuff that you don't find in the grocery store.
Right. A lot of microbrews, a lot of craft.
Oddly, he sells stuff that you find in the grocery store too, by request. People are like, Greg, could you carry this generic beer that every store on the planet has?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, I'll get it for you. I'm gonna mark it up a little bit.
Charge you $15 a can for this. I mean, he's not that bad. But why we like Greg is because instead of having to buy a 6-pack of beer and find out we really hate it, we can buy
a single
2 cans or just 1 can or 1 bottle.
Right.
Split it, and then if we really like it, it's like, yeah, this is great. We'll get more, and if we really don't like it, we're out 1 can of beer.
Right.
Which to date we haven't.
$30. Yeah.
So those margarita gozes were not great, but in fact we actually didn't like them. We've had a couple that we were like, these aren't so wonderful. But at least we finished them.
Yeah.
I think we finished the margarita gozes, but it's more for comedic effect. You can watch our reaction to it if you go back to some of the
we did a short video on that one.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Enough unpleasant thoughts. So, anyways, how did I get on, Greg?
You were talking about just our local experiences and stuff.
Okay, I was just rambling. All right. Now I will allow Steve to talk about his beer.
Okay, so as mentioned before, we're going to do a English style old ale, or also known as a strong ale. It's not hoppy. At least that's not the intention. I could be wrong in the end. We haven't named it yet. We're going to wait and name it after it's completed. And then,
I start pouring water.
What's that?
Don't we start?
Yeah, go ahead and start pouring water. So the ingredients, I have 9.9 pounds of light malt extract. This is the Pilsen Light, kind of standard for light malt extracts. Okay. We have 1 pound of crystal malt, the L20. L stands for Lovabond. It's like a coloring scale, and this is actually kind of a lighter version of that. It's not gonna add too much color darkness.
Well, we're reading, they have the various numbers.
Right.
That one article was like 20, 40, 60, 80.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen a 55.
You might have, yeah. Our other specialty grain is a 1/4 pound of chocolate malt, and purpose of that is just to get a little bit of color. Our bittering hops, I'm going to use 1.5 ounces of Northern Brewer, which are put away right now. I believe the alpha acids on that was like
4 point something. I saw the package.
Yeah, it was a lower number, so it's not going to be super bitter, but it's going to take off any kind of sweetness edge. And our finishing hops, I'm going to use 1/2 ounce of Cascade. Yeast is the London Ale yeast. I forget the number because the yeast packs are inside. I think it's the 1322 from Y Yeast. And that's it for the ingredients list. The process is going to be kind of standard. We're going to cold steep our specialty grains up to about 150 to 160 degrees for 30 minutes. And then we'll remove the grain sack. We will stir in our malt extracts, and then we'll bring it up to a nice rolling boil. And at the 60-minute mark, we'll throw in our bittering hops. And then at the 5-minute mark, I'm going to throw in the finishing hops.
So you decided on that?
Yeah.
Because last night you were like,
yeah, I'm not trying to achieve a really hoppy aroma. I want some of that to kind of boil off into the last 5 minutes of the boil. So that's the whole purpose of that. That thing's ready. I already retied it.
oh,
You just gotta set it in there and then probably just flip the thing over one time so it doesn't sit on the bottom of the pan.
I got
Hot. Okay, perfect. All right, let's get some fire.
nice. Is there a hole in here somewhere?
Here, I can get it. You want to control the?
Yep.
You can go for it. Hey, we have fire.
Sorry, dude. We got fire everywhere.
Center that a little bit.
Not to be perfect, but where?
All right.
Sweet. And we are on our way to brewing beer.
Yeah, this is I mean, to us, it's kind of important to us because it's a milestone in our brewing experience. By no means are we claiming the expertise, but I think for the fact that we designed our own recipe, it's a jump to the next level. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah!
So, I'm going to meticulously document this, and that way, if it comes out really good, it's going to be repeatable. And for the first time, I'm actually going to measure gravities on this. Oh, I forgot to mention the gravity. Approximately, I think the original gravity is going to be 1.070, and then the final gravity is maybe going to be 1. Oh crap! I forgot what it was, man. It doesn't really matter. We'll let you know when it's finished.
The final gravity is going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're kind of this is experimental. I mean, I did follow some guidelines in the all too great Joy of Homebrewing guide by Mr. Charlie Papazian. This is a 3rd edition, but there is a newer edition out. But still, the chemistry is going to be the same no matter what. So maybe I think the new edition just has some additional recipes and maybe some revision on the processes. So, because the processes he describes in here are a little different than what we do. So
Really? As in how?
well, he talks about doing initial fermentation in a bucket with a blow-off tube and stuff, and then like your boil is only he only does like a 45-minute boil as opposed to the hour that we do. You know what I mean?
I wonder if that's just something that people have discovered it works better that way.
Yeah, because I think this version, the 3rd edition, I think it was published in like 2003. I think over the years, people kind of have learned how to be more efficient.
You know what's crazy is how long have we been brewing beer? Like
A couple of years.
Oh, I meant more like 7,000 years. How long have humans been brewing beer?
Humans, yeah, I have no idea.
Right? I mean, but it is thousands of years.
Man, that's awesome.
Somebody's proud of themselves.
That's what I was trying to achieve.
Oh, that looks good, man.
That reminds me of like old ale you would see in like a movie or something, you know?
Oh yeah, nice.
Old style ale.
And it's not done yet. I mean,
Oh no, yeah, it's gonna darken a little bit. Let's get a reference temperature.
So
Humans have been brewing beer for 5,000 years.
5,000 years perfecting this process.
our team is growing, and it includes how old are you?
12.
12-year-olds, and they research for us. I
Right, did our research.
don't know how that makes me feel about myself.
Back up. That's fine, but you can't keep interrupting me, okay?
Your dad's on a mission. So
You can hang out with us, but you just can't keep interrupting me, okay, kiddo?
So this one, I wonder, well, we're gonna have to be pretty careful with this one, like, because we won't be able to repeat it if we screw up, you know, like get
Right.
chatting and it gets up to 190
No,
degrees
no,
on the
so
pot,
we'll have to do the usual.
which these things happen to us often.
Just writing some notes.
Okay, I'm just looking. You didn't happen to record the barometric pressure of today, did you?
No.
You don't think that'll impact the beer?
Probably, but not enough for me to worry about.
Really? I don't think it will. Although they do it with baking, you know. I wonder if making beer is different up in the mountains.
It is actually. In fact, the book refers to some of the alterations you might make if you're at higher altitudes.
Seriously,
Yeah.
because I know that baking does, because obviously
Right.
the like boiling point of water is different, and there's a lot of different things that happen once you get up to
Sure.
altitude.
Right.
I was just wondering if it's the same with beer. And so there are, huh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is different. You adjust your temperatures and your times based off the altitude. That's like above 5,000 or above 4,000. You know, there's not like a range of things. Just like if you're below this, do it like normal. If you're above, I think it's 4,000, do it, adjust it. You know, just like if you're baking. So.
Yeah, that's what I've always seen with the baking thing.
Yeah.
Above, I think it's 5,000. So yeah, this is looking good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
What's cool is the process is almost what we've done every time. I mean,
You know, the general process to making beer, I mean,
it's the same, yeah.
I mean, there's certain things like water profiles. I guess you could get pretty deep into it if you wanted to, but
Yeah, I'm not going there yet.
not yet.
Yeah.
How do you brew this beer? I import the water from the top of Baldy Mountain in Townsend, Montana. Awfully specific, yes.
Yes.
That water.
It's
As best water.
Nope. In fact, the water we're using today and like we've been using for the last few months is just good old tap water. So
Straight out.
I mean, kind of-
your tap water.
kind
We're
of a
not gonna
general,
use my tap
general rule of thumb is if you can drink it, you can brew with it. Now, obviously, there might be some exceptions because city tap water can tend to be a little high in chlorine, but there's things you can do to kind of counter that. You can add gypsum. There's another product, some kind of sodium chloride, kind of salt-based product you can throw in your water as well. I forget what it's called though. Then usually your local brew supply is going to have those things because they understand water profile is important to brewing. So, but no, in this case, we're just using tap water. And I did look up the local city water tables, or not tables, but the
Water profile?
The profile, and I don't remember what I saw for chlorine, but it didn't strike me as concerning.
Well, it doesn't smell horribly chlorinated.
Right. And that's the biggest thing is highly chlorinated water, even if it's safe to drink, can still affect the flavor of the beer. I mean, literally everything you do affects the flavor of beer in some form or fashion.
Although actually, well, it seems our beers turn out okay to me, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the only thing I want to learn how to counter is chill haze, because I get chill haze a lot. But that's normal, It's okay. It doesn't affect the flavor of the beer. It just affects the way the beer looks. It just kind of has a haziness to it, like when you pour it into a glass from your keg.
And of course, it's all about how the beer looks. That's what's most important.
Who
Who cares what it tastes like?
There's been a few. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why chill haze doesn't bother me as far as I'm not afraid of it changing the beer flavor. I just want to know how to counter it so that you know, if I pour a nice glass of beer, I can see right through it, you know, just more for like that, oh, look what I did thing, you know?
Makes you feel better about yourself.
Right. And I can't quite remember what I was reading about chill haze, how it's caused. I mean, it's something at the chemical level, obviously, but I just don't remember what affected it.
You know, I've got one of these fancy things too.
I know, we could look it up.
It's crazy.
What causes chill haze? So we broke 100 in temperature. Yeah, look at that, it's getting nice and golden. Oh yeah. Woo.
Look at that.
What you got, man?
It's from Burtis Brewery. How to fix and prevent chill haze. No one likes hazy beer unless you're drinking a hazy.
Speaking of, that's what's in the secondary right now.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, I have
Nice.
in my little in my house's brewing pipeline. I have the IPA on tap. I have a hazy IPA in that rack one time, which we're actually going to rack it again because it's still pretty sludgy in there. And then now I'll have this one in the pipeline. So forgot to mention that earlier.
Is it pretty sludgy? You're gonna have to double rack that one.
I'm pretty sure it would help if I double racked it because I mean it has that, what's that stuff on the top, the koi?
Krausen.
It had Krausen on it even after I racked it. It produced Krausen. So that told me it's still fermented a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
it probably did.
It's fine. I mean, it's an IPA. And in fact, it was dry hop too, which probably affected a lot of that, you know. Twice it was dry hopped. Once at like day 5, I think the other time at like day 7 it was dry hopped. So, what you got on chill haze?
So what I got right here, this guy's so skipping a lot of the other stuff. One of the more common reasons for hazy beer is chill haze. All right, you know, it has chill haze if it's bright, clear, right, at room temperature, but turbid, hazy, at frigid temperature. So when it gets cold, it gets hazy, right? This guy says, unfortunately, most brewers try to fix chill haze after you brew the beer rather than prevent it from the start. List of best practices that will help ensure your beer is sparkling clear. And they're in chronological order. First, pre-fermentation during this stage, right? The hot break. This one is kind of a no-brainer, but a strong boil creates a good hot break. As wort comes to a boil, proteins begin to coagulate and form larger particles. And as those particles become larger and clump together, they fall out of solution. We say this is a no-brainer because most brewers already achieve a good rolling boil. So that's where your boil, and that's the importance to that. All right, finings, which is like the little grain dust that always escapes the sack. Finings, really fine stuff.
Right.
All right. Findings, Irish moss or whirly flock are worth their weight in gold. Use one or the other on every batch.
Right, it makes us a clump, I believe, when I read about
Right,
Irish
either
moss.
of these will help precipitate hot break and cold break from the wort. Whirly flock tablets are actually sized for 10-gallon batches, so use half a tablet for 5 gallons. All right, so you got that. You got your hot break. It's important to get your hot break, which everybody does because that's part of the way it goes. Findings, which we don't use Irish moss, maybe that's it.
Yeah, we've never used it. So.
I used it a couple times and it didn't seem to do anything. So,
I don't know.
All right.
Maybe try it. Or
So
you try
that was the thing.
whirly flock or that stuff. So.
Whirly flock tablets or Irish moss. We know both of those. All right. Cold break. After the boil, chill your wort as fast as possible. As you rapidly chill wort, more proteins and haze-inducing particulate will precipitate out of the solution. This is one of the more critical steps to eliminating chill haze. If you aren't chilling your wort under 80 degrees Fahrenheit in 15 minutes, invest some time in improving your process.
See, we're achieving that.
Oh, yeah,
we have that wort chiller.
We're getting down to 70 degrees Fahrenheit within like 8 minutes.
Yeah, 7 or 8 minutes we're down. So.
All right, post-fermentation. Now here's something interesting. Cold crash.
Right.
Once the beer is completely fermented out and you've given the yeast some time to clean up after themselves, crash the beer down as close to 32 degrees Fahrenheit as possible. Now that's something you hear about a lot with lagers.
Mm.
You know, because that's what they call it, lagering.
Right.
You know, that's where we get the whole term. But yeah, this guy's saying you should do that, and I'm assuming that he's applying it even to ales, right? So,
Anyways, it affects them all. So
yeah, rapidly chilling the beer from fermentation temps down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit will cause most of the yeast to drop out of solution. It will also help cause chill haze. Why would we want to cause chill haze? Okay, I thought that was a typo until I read that next sentence. Funny that you ask. Well, let's find out.
let's find out.
All right. Gelatin. Great. Exactly what I think of when I think of beer. Now that the beer is ice cold and probably fairly hazy, you'll want to fine it with gelatin. Plain old Knox or any other unflavored gelatin will work. Add 1 teaspoon, about half a cup of water, microwave safe dish, yada, yada, yada. So mix it. All right.
You got anything to go inside?
Add the hot gelatin solution to your beer, either straight or rack it on top of the gelatin in a keg. The gelatin will drop out the yeast and most of the haze-inducing particles in the beer in around 28 to 48 hours. If you did this in the primary, rack your beer into a keg or a bottling bucket. If you did this in the keg, simply pull a couple pints of cloudy beer off the bottom of the keg. Finally, and last, but still important, is to condition your beer cold. Brewers that bottle condition their beer are often eager to try their beer after the several weeks it took to carbonate. As a result, they don't let the beer condition long enough at frigid temps. I know I never did. The same problem happens once brewers start kegging. Going from grain to glass quicker is one of the big draws to kegging, isn't it? Yes. It is.
Indeed.
No matter the package, beer can really benefit from about 2 to 3 weeks spent at fridge temps after fermentation. Call it conditioning or lagering, but the effect is the same. Haze causing particulate falls out of solution, sharp flavors begin to round off. That was a typo. And the beer just plain tastes better.
Well, we always do that because we transfer our beer into the keg, and then before we start any carbonation, we let it sit for over 24 hours and get cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
then we apply the CO2, and
well,
we still let it carbonate for 2 weeks. You know.
So he's got a quick summary here. Strong boil, whirly flock, quick chill. All right, we don't do the whirly flock, but we do the other two. All right, cold crash, we don't do cold crash. Gelatin, we don't do that, and cold condition. So of those points, the ones we do, we get the strong boil, we chill quickly, and then we cold condition. We do all of those.
Right. But yet we still get chill haze. However, there was one beer, it was in your setup, that we made that did not have chill haze. I can't remember what it was. It was like a couple months ago. And
Really?
It was very crystal clear. I was like, man, this came out really good. And it had a good carbonation as well, you know what I mean? So,
Oh.
it's one of the ones that was in your pipeline. I can't remember what we made. It was a while back, though.
Well, you know, it's interesting because there's just the whole lagering thing is like, see, now he calls lagering conditioning at cold temperatures, whereas I've always thought lagering was that cold crashing that he did. I thought that was the lagering. And I thought it was just kind of like given that you carbonated your beer at
Right,
cold
because
temperature.
CO2 infuses better at cold temperatures, you know.
Right. Which, I told you about that. My dad put that gallon milk jug because he had nowhere else to put the beer.
Oh.
And it got warm and the milk jug popped. Kind of soaked all the vegetables that were in the bottom of the cooler. So now we have beer flavored vegetables, which I'm totally gonna eat. Fortunately, the milk jug popped up at the top, and so there was still quite a bit of beer down in the bottom. But yeah, it definitely. Nice. It was interesting. As it got warmer, the carbonation came out of solution, and then the milk jug gave up. Wasn't designed for that. But my father wasn't about to give me a growler either, so okay, that's all right. That was a lot of beer, dude.
That's okay.
I don't know how me and him managed to take down 10 gallons of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
Maybe 9 gallons, but it was a full keg, like a full party keg, like for a party thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of beer. It was a good weekend.
I'm trying to remember what's like a regular keg.
I think they're 10 gallons. They look like they could be.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can look it up.
Okay. Let's look it up. So anyways, might grab some Irish moss or whirly flock.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't hurt to try it. Next batch, you know. Speaking of, what do you want to do next round? You want to do a double, or do you want to do just whatever?
I'm not 100% sure. I really want to see how this turns out.
It's gonna be amazing. I can already tell you that right now.
Okay.
It's gonna be amazing, man.
Right. How many beers in a keg? What is the standard keg size?
I want to say it's 6 24 packs. So
All right.
24, times 12 times 6.
Okay, so a barrel is the standard method for measuring kegs of beer. Depending on the brewery, beers are kegged in various sizes. Half barrel equals 15.5 gallons, or 124 pints, or 165 12-ounce bottles. Full-size keg. Full-size keg is a quarter barrel, or 7.75 gallons, or 7 3/4 gallons, 62 pints, 83 12-ounce bottles. Oh, that's a pony keg. So the bigger one, half barrel, is 15.5 gallons. That's a full keg.
Okay, the standard, like what you would see.
That's the big
party.
keg you'll see at parties with the air,
Yeah.
just the regular hand pressurizer.
So that's 15 gallons, okay.
Yeah, and me and my
That's a lot of
dad
beer, though.
tackled that.
What kind of beer was it?
Fresh spawn water.
Oh, that's right, yeah, that.
Well, now you can't judge it though, because by the time you drank it, it was 3 days
Flat,
old
yeah.
and flat and not great.
What style beer was it supposed to be? Do you remember?
It's an ale of some sort. I don't know. I think it's a pale ale. I don't know. You can look it up.
True.
It's a normal brewery.
I don't doubt it that it tasted much better once it was fresh out of the keg.
It did.
3 days old out of a growler.
But I gotta tell you,
We're close to temp actually. We're over 140 now. Just to get out.
autofill. Fresh spawn water. Fresh spawn water hemp ale. Kettle House Brewing Company. Yeah, it's from Kettle House.
Okay.
So fresh spawn water hemp ale. Yes, I was born. I'm 21. Thank you.
Beyond that, twice.
Okay, we don't have to dwell on it.
I'm right there with you, man.
I know. Fresh spawn water hemp pale ale is made with Montana grown barley and Canadian grown industrial hemp,
It's got
making it okay. And so it actually does have hemp in it.
Oh well.
It's industrial hemp though, so great.
It's not gonna have cannabinoids.
Drink
in it.
beer or build a hemp concrete wall with this
Oh,
stuff.
dark this is good.
Oh, that's looking.
I almost
It is.
considered using an amber malt extract. I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been even more dark. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it would have been fine.
You're talking about the LMEs.
Yeah, I was almost gonna use the amber.
What'd you do? Just Pilsens?
Pilsen Lights, yeah.
9.9 pounds of Pilsen Light. Jeez.
Well, that's because it needs to have enough sugars in there to achieve that higher ABV. I don't know the exact ABV, but we're targeting anywhere between 7 and 8. So it's going to be a stiffy.
So in any case, smooth drinking, slightly nutty, light ale, caramel malts added to enhance head retention and contribute a touch of sweetness. Great for parties where mass appeal is desired. 5%, 22 IBUs, and that pretty much fits what I tasted. It wasn't bad.
Almost there.
It wasn't bad at all. I don't think it really benefited from the industrial hemp.
Right.
I feel like that's a brewer saying it's
I don't know what industrial hemp would do for a beer, honestly.
filtered through asbestos cloth. It's like, great.
You can drink it, you just can't breathe it.
Yep.
Yeah. We're almost there, man, for our start our steeping timer. So
Oh, we haven't even hit 150 yet?
no, it's kind of I've been kind of going into the slow climb, so we have more control.
No, that's a good idea, man. I mean, we need to keep control on this. But something else, I wonder, one thing we've never discussed and I've never read about, how fast you go from 0 to 150. I wonder what that does to things.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Oh, how you doing on your beer?
I've been empty for like 15
I know.
minutes.
I saw that.
Which is really strange because I've been I beat beer drinking and talk more than
I think I've been focused on
this. All right.
Yeah, but
Get a beer, Steven. Is your name even Steven? Is it even?
actually, Steven on my birth.
So that is your full name.
Legit Steven with a V, not a PH.
Oh, we're gonna get choppy here. Our internet connection is unstable.
Oh boy.
Why it's unstable, I don't know. Makes no sense because
Oh, because I have a bunch of people streaming. in my house.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
You
Fair enough.
know, my older daughter, sister on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube. The younger one does YouTube sometimes, or plays games.
And then you got Chase, who is our number one fan, you know.
Right. He's probably streaming using the internet, which is fine. And then I'm not sure if I guess my wife's not home yet. She gets on TikTok.
Yeah, so lots of video going in.
So lots of stuff using bandwidth in the house, even though I have gigabit Ethernet, or gigabit, not Ethernet. Of course, my Ethernet's gigabit, but my source is gigabit. Here you go, man.
Oh, thank you. It might be my computer, man. I don't know. But my computer doesn't generally have problems.
It's probably the internet. It's not as shaky around here.
There we go. Now we're back.
All right, we're at 150, so I'm going to start the timer.
Start the timer.
The timer is started.
So since you have like German heritage, are you allowed to make fun of Germans?
Oh, yes, I am.
Nice. I'm only not allowed. I don't know who I'm allowed to make fun of. I think I can make fun of French people and Irish people.
French and Irish?
I could definitely make fun of English people.
Oh, yeah, because Aston.
Yeah, that is straight up English.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anybody in Germany, but because my heritage is very German, if you haven't caught previous episodes, my dad is from Germany, like straight up, born and raised, became a U.S. citizen kind of thing, learned English as a second language, so I'm very German. And my mom's side, I'm Irish. My grandfather's, either his parents or his grandparents, did potato famine migration, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Was your mom a Kennedy?
She was.
Yeah.
Mom was a Kennedy.
Unfortunately, not one of the Kennedys.
Not related to, the late Kennedys,
But yeah, that's too bad.
but a Kennedy nonetheless.
I would have liked to been your friend if you had that kind of money.
I know, right?
It's like, why are you that guy's friend? He's a jerk. Yes.
He's a rich
What?
jerk. He pays for everything, jerk.
He built me a beer broadcasting studio.
Like, paid for everything. One day we'll have that kind of money.
Hey, what's the top internet anymore? I remember for the longest time it was T1. Have they gone beyond T1? Because that was
I think so.
decades ago.
Yeah, I think we have technology that's better than T1. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but like the internet trunks, like the backbones are just ungodly because they're fiber optic now.
Well, right. I mean,
that's way better. T1 still used phone lines, if I recall. You know what I mean?
Did it? I don't know.
So
I used to remember when I was a kid.
They used to refer
T1.
to it as twisted pair. You know what I mean?
Oh well, yeah, that's phone lines.
I remember like you were the man if you had a T3 connection, which was not as good as a T1, but it was still better than dial-up.
Yes.
Back in those days. But yeah, I think we're well beyond those kind of speeds, especially with fiber optic systems. You have a fiber optic cable bundle as big as big around diameter as your finger. I mean, it's just the speeds on that. It can run a neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, you think about how fast light is and all that kind of stuff.
Now the drawback, though, we're doing perfect. Drawback, though, with fiber optic is because it's a light beam, you can't have too much of a bend or curve in the line.
So it can't like hang a corner.
Yeah, not like a wire. Yeah, because what happens is it starts reflecting and then bouncing, and then signal gets distorted. You know what I mean? I don't know much about fiber optics. I'm not an expert, but I would hope by now in 2021 that we have some fiber optic cabling that's accounts for that kind of stuff, so you can get more of a bend if you need it.
Like little tiny mirrors.
Maybe, or some kind of reflective coating on it. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense.
Just zips.
I mean, think about a CD, a classic CD. That reflective coating on there is what enabled it to work. The laser would read it, because without that, the laser would just go right through it. That's why some of my old CDs, they got scratched on top, not the bottom where the laser reads, but on top, and some of that reflective coating went away, and so when it plays, it stutters. I've heard of a fix for that is like silver nail polish, but I've never tried it.
Really?
Yeah, put a little dab of silver nail polish on there where like the cover, like the paint part came off.
But I would think that it would lose the information though.
See, the thing is, the information's not coded into the silver. It's just the silver is strictly there to catch the laser beam. The information's coded in the track in the plastic.
the little lands and stuff. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
what-
burned in there, it's like little
Yeah.
pits and grooves.
Yeah,
and-
it's kind of like a classic phonograph record, but just at a smaller scale and not analog. I mean, it's digital. But yeah, that reflective part doesn't hold the data. It just reflects the laser.
Oh, okay.
It's just a point for the laser to stuff, to come back.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
What's funny is the CD technology is, I wouldn't say it's obsolete, but it's just, very rarely does anybody buy a CD anymore. You know what I mean? People buy digital music these days.
I know, and I kind of miss CDs.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because, my CD collection,
Well, it's not for me. I like the concept of having something
Right.
that won't break. So like, even a hard drive. I mean, the durability of a hard drive, a classic hard drive, as compared to a CD, it's much more fragile. I mean, for one thing, all of the information is held there by magnetism,
Yeah, exactly.
which can be changed with any good magnet, and the grease in the bearings will like wear out, and then the hard drive won't spin anymore and stuff. I mean, I've heard that CDs like wear out too. I've heard this, but I just don't see if you keep them in a cold, dark place, packaged
Right.
up. It's like
That should be fine. I don't
Thousand years
think
from
wearing
now.
out a CD plain it doesn't do anything. I don't believe that's accurate. If you scratch the CD or if you scratch away the reflective coating, it can wear out. Now, obviously, old school spinny mechanical drives, they wore out because they had moving parts. But even solid state drives can wear out because those circuits can only take so much current for so long, and so many read and write operations on there.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually they don't work anymore. So a lot of us pretty much, solid state drives are pretty much ubiquitous across the boards now. But yeah, after so many read and writes, they actually fail too.
Yeah, I guess everything fails, but it'd be like we have this amazing technology. It'd be nice if it lasted more than 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I wonder
seriously.
how much this is designed to fail. So you have to buy it.
Oh, that's probably a big
like
part.
cell phones and stuff. It's just like.
But I mean, like, seriously, you can look at the original Declaration of Independence. Like
Right.
the actual one that
Sure.
the guys wrote on.
Right. The one that's
You can look at that.
stored, yeah.
I mean, you have to protect it from the sunlight. And
Oh,
stuff.
I think it's probably in a vacuum sealed, no, like all the air is pumped out of it kind of thing, so it can't rot.
Right? Yeah, that's probably true. But the fact that you can look at that, can you imagine a hard drive lasting 150 years?
No,
Totally unusable.
not gonna happen.
I mean, and not just for the fact that there's no interface to
Right.
get the information off. I mean,
No, just the materials itself are gonna be
yeah, they're just
done, yeah.
worn out and gone. And I think that's why I like CDs. I also don't like, I really don't like software as a service. I do not like that, man.
That's the model these days.
It's horrible. I mean, I can understand it in certain applications, like business stuff or things like that. But like, I want Photoshop, and I can't just have regular old Photoshop.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that either.
Is that still software as a service, or am I thinking of something completely
Yeah,
different?
I mean, it's still, because it's just, it's software and a subscription. Typically, when you refer to software as a service, it's usually some kind of web app that you're paying for.
Right.
But it's still, the idea is the same, even though you're using Photoshop on your desktop computer, you're still subscribing to it as a service. Because without that subscription, it's not gonna work anymore, And yeah, I don't like that either. I like the old days when you would pay for your copy of the software.
Right. Had a disc.
And then if an update came out, either the developer is giving the updates for free or you paid for the update, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing is like, because I legitimately bought the CS3 Creative Suite from
Right.
Adobe. About the only one I use is Photoshop. I think I use, you know what? You didn't close your,
Oh, geez.
I got it, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. I got focused on this because it was getting kind of high on the temperature.
Yeah, don't let that get out of control.
No, it hasn't broken 160, but it's just like, what?
And then suddenly, cases of soda appeared in the
every time I
studio.
put the flame down, it goes back.
You're probably about as low as you can get.
I know, it's weird.
Well, we've got the end flame.
It's out. Yep.
And now we need the aim and flame.
It's fine. We're at high enough temperature.
How many minutes do we have left?
Give me a second, I'll tell you. Actually, I can get rid of some of that heat by using this.
Yeah, rotate it around in there.
Time remaining is 20 minutes. Probably have to put the fire back on.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to turn the flame back on.
And that's fine.
So is this the dip that you said might be poisonous?
No, the onion dip, I don't know how old that is. That cheese dip's only like a couple weeks old.
Yeah, I can't get to the bottom.
I can get a spoon. Okay, yeah, we're still. Let me go off camera for a second, help my wife.
All right. I'll be right here talking about stuff. And stuff, yeah. It's a little bit harder to talk about stuff when there's no one to talk to, which is why you folks should stick around and actually give comments. I don't see any comments. 6 viewers, no comments. Comments are good. We like comments. So this is kind of exciting. Obviously, we're doing our own beer this time around. And one of the reasons we're being picky is we're going to document the whole process. So hopefully we can replicate it. It's easy to replicate all the other beers we've done because they come from recipes. So we just do it exactly how the recipe. So we're building our own recipe, and that is pretty cool. Other than that, I'm just gonna, yeah, eat my chips here. Doing good. Waiting. Kind of lonely now. We should be able to maintain that for quite a while. 158 degrees. We're aiming for between 150 and 160 for approximately half an hour. All right, welcome back.
I'm back.
Bearer of the milk.
I'll be right back again.
And I'm alone again. He's back. Now I'm alone.
I forgot I had beef jerky.
Oh,
Totally gonna have this beef jerky.
good stuff. What kind?
Whatever's left of that. And some of this stuff.
Beef jerky powder. Awesome.
You know, for those days.
Mm-hmm. Just leaving it up against the bottle. That's what I do. If it catches fire, it'll just make for a more exciting broadcast.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. That guy's a pretty good show. The Critical Drinker. You ever watch Critical Drinker? You should. It's funny.
Okay. Doing good. We have 17 minutes remaining.
All right, good deal. That's getting really dark.
It is.
So when you say amber, you mean like instead of the crystal?
No, amber malt extracts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be a little darker than you expected almost.
Right. It'll lighten up, but then again, remember, we're gonna get diluted with more water later, so.
That's true. That is gonna happen.
So I'm thinking in the end, it's gonna be kind of a golden dark, kind of like that.
That'll be a good color, man.
So,
Totally down with that. They're really cool. I'm glad you decided to do this.
me too.
I was very happy doing the recipes. I mean, I thought it would be a cool idea to make our own, but I'm glad you just like bailed into it.
Come on. I thought,
Whoops.
My coffee urge to take the next take it to the next level.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi. The cabinets are fucking shitty spot.
Bam, PG 13, all the way to R.
Thanks, son.
That's so hilarious. Your debut.
Ladies
Your
and gentlemen,
debut
my
on
wife.
the broadcast.
Hi. Welcome to my channel.
That was funny.
From a different speed.
Oh no, we invariably end up slipping up. It just usually happens a lot
Way later.
Yeah.
We were still rated G until just a
Yeah,
moment
we
ago.
were totally. We had 12-year-olds as our support staff.
Right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's like you're all fired.
That's all right. One day we'll like do a NSFW version. No, I don't know. I'm just joking about that. Like this one's not the family version. We're gonna go like straight up,
Don't let your kids watch.
straight up sailor mouth, you know. Not bad.
Oh, wow. What? Standing next to me. Wow. Crazy. That's pretty
Eight
hilarious.
Something about-
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's all right.
You get on your phone and see how it's good. Just kind of monitor.
Viewers.
Well, the second was don't use my Wi-Fi and try it through
Mhm.
your signal. That's just going to affect your bill. Because
No.
like me, I pay for data still. So.
I get up to 1 gig for
Oh, okay. It's included.
control. We can burn a little. The thing is that it's not the greatest. Cellular data is turned off for apps. Oh, okay, maybe I should fix that.
Yeah, I have my cell data turned off for just about everything.
Oh yeah, I lock it down.
Yeah. So if I have to do something, I'll turn it on temporarily, do it, and then turn it back off just to minimize my usage. Because I noticed with iPhone, it uses a lot more data than my old Android phones did, as far as like
Really?
just everyday usage. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had anything other than,
Right.
so I don't have a really good comparison. Oh look, we're back to good. I do know this though. Comcast data,
Yeah.
not amazing.
Terrible, huh?
Well, check it out.
Yeah, you still have a spinner.
Yep. Which saves me on data. So.
Right.
You can do all that. Go back to settings and turn data off. Yeah,
So over here and rotate our stuff that's sanitizing.
sounds good. Hey, test this. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're still above temp, but
Well, doing that's gonna be more of the heat.
well,
Yeah, we should probably put fire back on it.
well, let me turn off. Go down here. Turn that off. Turn the Wi-Fi back on. So that, yeah, it's just very strange. It's like, well, I was telling you, I was hanging out with my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted to show me a video, and so then I looked at the video, and her phone was like, bam, right there, and she has T-Mobile,
Mm.
and it was not quite as fast as like,
What am I doing?
I don't know, what are you doing? Don't get that bleach water all over your.
No, I rinse it off.
Okay, just saying, man. You and I both have clothing that we can no longer wear to weddings.
I know, right? I forgot to lay this on its side to let it. You could get maximum boots covered, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. We'll be good. So in any case, you want to turn the flame back on?
I did.
You turn the flame back on. Well, good deal. What was I talking
My
about?
kung fu is good, man.
It is. I was talking about something. I've forgotten it already.
Well, on our usual.
Oh, data. Anyways, her phone just bam starts playing the video, and my phone just struggled. And maybe it's because, I'm not paying the $45, $50 for unlimited. Of course, my kid's phone too. His phone. Oh. Wow, that's not good.
Let me go check the router, man. Just see if I'm getting weird lights.
All right, I'll be right here. We've never actually fully gone dark before. So yeah, if anyone from Comcast is listening, you need to up your game. Because at this point, there's no way I would pay for your unlimited data. Because unlimited at speeds that rival dial-up is not something I'm interested in buying. I'll pay your strong arm $15 a month to get me to be able to accept multi-messages.
So the modem is fine. I think it's because there's just too many people using the internet and it's killing our bandwidth. You have to start over or it fixes
No,
itself?
it'll fix itself. We're
Yeah,
back.
because she was watching YouTube through the television, which still uses
Right.
my internet connection. So I turned that off, and it's kind of made it be known that we're broadcasting right now. Minimize the streaming.
You can sacrifice 2 hours every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back. Yeah, I was just saying, they're that impressive. They're the cell phone market. They've been cable forever, but. Man, I like those things like, and track phone and stuff that they kind of still put pressure in the system. It's like there are people out there that are still doing new things. We have ideas.
Right.
The only thing is that everyone's using AT&T's hardware. It's all AT&T.
Right.
I imagine at this point, cell towers that are getting erected are probably owned by someone other than AT&T. But when they first broke up Ma Bell and all that, it's like, sure, there was more phone companies, but they didn't make them give up all the actual lines.
Fall by the wayside too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all start to merge again. It's like a fracture them and then they come back together.
Right.
It's entropy. It's weird how it even works in a non-physical thing like business, right? Because that's not physical, the concept of,
No.
it's just thoughts and agreements, but still, back into one. Because a single unit is more efficient, things done, it's more power, it has more of the dollars, and so it can roll out really cool. But it can also charge you $19.99 per minute. And it can really, crowd competition. And you get bad things, you get dinosaurs. Like the got their cars, even though they weren't. And Japan came along and said, we make them better.
Make it better. Yep.
And instead of making better cars, they went to the government and said, you need to put tariffs on Japan. Which, I don't know, on the one hand, I understand protecting your national interest, right? You want your people in your country to have a shot at doing things. But on the other hand, if your people in your country are producing a crap product and the customers in your country are like not getting as good as what the rest of the world gets, it's like, sorry man, you got to go out of business and make room for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I follow you.
And this has been Economics with the Northwest Brewmasters. We now return to brew beering.
Brew beering.
Brew beering.
Brew beering.
It's like beer brewing, but
Hey, we're brew beering.
brew. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to letting you talk.
I actually like that. We're brew beering.
Brew beering.
We're gonna use that.
Mm-hmm. You should write it down in the notebook that it's not the tome of power because. Why do you write things down in the tome? Because you want.
Because I haven't got the want to do it yet.
All right, I get that. So you actually want to look good in that book. Yeah, that makes sense. So in the future, we'll probably just regular old notepads. Think about getting. Well, you'll get the book set up, but like when we're sitting here figuring things out, you're not going to want to just.
Oh yeah. More likely, I'll just do it on the legal pad and then transfer it into the actual journal notebook.
I'd be down with getting an Apple. I've actually bought the Apple Pencil.
Oh yeah.
I think it's been used a whole 6 times in my house. So that's like $20 a time. It's supposed to be stupid expensive. I don't know about it, but she got one.
Well, I mean, I thought it was intended for like iPads.
Yeah, I have an iPad. Demo has an
iPad.
It has an iPad.
Well, you said Win doesn't have an iPad.
Yeah, but a pencil. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's for the boys.
I thought like she bought it for and I'm like, what is she using it with? And if she doesn't, because you're the one that have the iPad, you know. Whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe you can use it other places, but it doesn't make you can though.
No,
Because Apple wouldn't let you use it anywhere else. But
right, it only works on the. Everyone does that proprietariness instead.
Right.
Although I had one Chinese-made Boox tablet, Boox, that's the company, an Onyx tablet. I really liked that thing. So it was a reader, right? It was e-ink. It was not a backlit video screen. But
wow, that is a significant difference in temperature between the two sides there.
What's it sitting at?
Oh, 158. So we're within limits, of course.
You got a pan to put this in?
Oh, no, I can go get that.
All right.
We're gonna need it. We're at 5 minutes, a little less than minutes.
I'm just saying, I'm spending an awful lot of time alone on camera this broadcast. Just me and just that camera glaring at me with its little red dot eye, staring at me with our bad internet connection. Man, the internet connection sucks. Checking things. How far now? Yep, there it is. 7 viewers, which I am one.
All right, we have the greenback bowl.
Good deal, man. Yeah, this video output is pretty horrendous. Hey, there you are, putting the green bowl down. Hopefully the audio is better.
Right.
Yeah, all digitized and all that stuff. Yeah, that works.
I didn't damage that thermometer, but whatever. We don't really use it anyway.
What? Oh, you think you can damage it by doing that?
Well, put it onto the concrete, scratch it up, and then.
Maybe, I guess. I think it'd be all right. How long we got left?
53 seconds. So we should get the LME ready.
Sweet.
I'm gonna start peeling.
Got a ladle?
Ladle. No,
You should get a
but I
ladle.
will.
There's got to be a method to avoid the stickiness. Oh, there it goes.
Or ladle. Coming up.
All right.
The box.
All right, here we go. And that is the end of the steep. Let that drain for a little bit. Untie it.
Where was this?
I put it right next to that cabinet there. Right there, just leave enough room to walk up to the, right there, right there. It's kind of a guess on my part. I don't actually live in this house.
This one?
You can turn it off if you want. I know what it's going off for. Splot.
All right. Ladle.
Ladle. All right, give me one tub of that LME.
Bloody.
You want to kill the flame or do you want to let it go?
Let's let it go. It's very, very low, and we got movement, so I think we'll be fine.
All right.
Get the next one ready. All right.
Ladle.
Ladle.
Thank you, sir.
You can just ladle your own there, buddy.
Well, I'm thinking this will be.
Oh, say, if I see some burned hands, here's a lid for you. Are you ready?
Sweet. Almost ready.
No, this one actually opened without grief.
Oh, nice.
I mean, still sticky, but didn't rip on them.
That's gonna be what it's gonna be. This is for you. Oh, egg this. Nice. Yeah, you want to grab that other one? Yeah, and give it to me or pour it. Either way, doesn't matter. Yeah, that did lighten up quite a bit. Your wife has indicated.
Yeah, I think she embellishes a little bit too, but I mean, obviously we're experiencing some outages right now, so.
We're back! And on the interesting thing, by having these difficulties, the main screen hasn't frozen at the half-hour mark like it usually does. You need help? I could actually get up. God gave me feet. They're amazing.
You're fine. Someone get a door for me.
All right. So now we're going for boil.
Thank you. I'm back.
All right, and we are on our way to boiling.
Sweet. So, maybe what we need to invent is a way to get your malt extracts into the wort without getting sticky. Because you can be as careful as possible, you're still gonna get sticky.
I would pay for this.
Some method there, something you could screw on the top of the,
Or just a better jug or something.
Yeah. where there's like a no-touch thing almost, where you're just like, whoop, and it does it, you know?
I gotta tell you, I don't like being sticky. I'm not a messy food person either.
I'm not either.
Some people love ribs. Oh, we love ribs. It's, don't you love ribs? It's like, they taste
Yeah, with
good.
a fork and knife.
Yeah, exactly. With a fork and knife.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, wings, finger foods, that's just kind of the tradition, but I don't like it
It's
either.
like crap all over your face and on your hands.
I'm not into that either, man. I just don't like messy foods.
I'm not a messy food person.
I like the flavor of the messy foods. I just don't like to go
But you
through
can
the,
get that flavor in other ways.
I just don't like to go through the messiness of it. I'm just kind of weird like that.
You're not weird, because I'm like that. And if I admitted that you were weird, then I would be weird. And I'm not weird.
You're not weird.
Thank you.
Like, even my job, I don't like getting dirty, even though my job is a dirty job.
Okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
hard to, But that's like just accepting, it's a job, right? Jobs, unless you have your dream job, type of
Right.
deal, but, a job is a job. There's always gonna be parts about it you don't like. You shouldn't have to not like parts of eating. You know what I mean? Like, you should just be able to eat and enjoy the whole experience. The whole experience should be pleasurable. Where are you right now?
Just adding the pounds, was the steps we're going through.
So that's pretty standard. I mean, right now we're not really breaking any new ground. You
No.
ever wonder why that Newcastle recipe has a 1 hour, has a 90-minute boil?
I don't know.
I'm checking.
Maybe because it's to draw more out of it and to make it more malty, because those hops are gonna boil longer, so it's gonna really add to the bittering, making it not sweet. Maybe that's why that one wants to be so fast or so long. I mean, excuse me.
That makes sense. And you were saying, like, in the original Michael Papazano book, like, the boil was only 45 minutes.
Yeah, he was talking like 45 minutes to your initial boil, and then fermentation would be in a bucket with like a blow off hose, kind of like the buckets I have with the top on and the hose going into like another little small glass of water or something. So you had a water lock, but it was very unconventional. And then you would transfer that into a 5-gallon fermenter as like when you're racking it,
So ferment in a bucket, and then you go into
ferment in a bucket and then rack it later into the the carboy, and then bottle it or keg or whatever.
So 58% of the top 100 recipes on brewersfriend.com suggest a 60-minute boil. 31% ask you to do a 90-minute boil. How important are these times? What happens if you shorten them? We wanted to know the answer, and so do I.
Right.
And apparently so do you.
Yeah.
So we dug around the internet to find advice, statistics, and recommendations, which is exactly what I'm doing. So they did what I'm doing. Why is boiling needed? Okay, we kind of know that.
Yeah, we know that. So it draws out.
It does
Things
a lot
need
of
to come
things.
out.
So it sanitizes the wort.
Draws things out, converts things, and
Mhm.
sanitizes it. That's why we can take our wort chiller and boil it for about 15 minutes before we actually turn it on. You know what I mean?
Right. Rolling boil typically evaporates between 1 and 1.5 gallons of water per hour. Hugely dependent on the surface area of the kettle. The more surface area you have, the more you're going to lose.
Right.
So like a tall, narrow kettle will lose less water. Boiling the water.
Your kettle is more tall and narrow compared to mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that. Boiling for an extended period of time will evaporate 5 to 15% of the liquid, and that concentrates the sugars, thus leading to a higher gravity beer. Where did he go? Did he tell you where he went? I'll tell you about this. All right. The only thing about this is the concentration of the wort will slightly darken the color of your beer, except for the fact that when you put it into the fermenter, you're going to dilute it with water again. The final clarity of your beer also depends on the boil. During the first 10 minutes, the protein's added, so that's the hot break, right?
Okay.
All right. During the first 10 minutes, proteins added from the grain mashing will coagulate together and drop out of the solution. This is what's called a hot break. If those proteins don't drop out, less stability in your final beer as well as less clarity. Increased bittering. Bitter beers, such as double IPAs, need to have longer boil times to get the bitterness level style requires. The longer hops are boiled, the more bitterness is extracted from them. Without the bitterness, your beer would taste syrupy sweet. Okay, so that's one thing.
Right. That's why we do what we do.
Right.
That we know.
Yeah, we knew that. Caramelization, the same effect as with the whole, with baking bread. You know how bread turns toasty brown, you know. Doesn't work in the microwave, by the way, because microwave heats things in a different way.
Right.
Caramelization of the wort, when the sugars are scorched during the boil in a non-enzymatic way. Caramelization may sometimes cause browning in the same foods in which the Maillard reaction, that's what it is, the Maillard reaction. Two processes are distinct. Okay, so they're distinct. While promoted by heating, the Maillard reaction involves amino acid, whereas caramelization is simply the decomposition of sugars. Both contribute to the complex flavors inside beers. The most common method of achieving these is performing a longer boil. Some home brewers will get these flavors instead by aggressively boiling a portion of the wort in a small pan, or by heating the empty kettle before the wort is drained into it. No matter which way is used, the end result, darker beer, complex flavors. Okay. So maybe we need to do something interesting. Like, look, you can see the hot break happening right now. You can see it. See how the chunks are getting there, coming out of solution. We're also getting really close to a boil there. But you can see how all the particulate is kind of.
Yeah, it's doing its thing.
Yeah, good hot break. Good hot break.
Good break, man.
DMS, dimethyl sulfide, the one that causes the sulfur smell that you seem to have smelled in every beer I've ever brewed with you. Ever. Okay, you're right. There was one half a beer where you didn't smell it. Dimethyl sulfide, sulfur compound, is considered an off flavor in beer when it reaches high concentrations. It's introduced to beer during the mashing of the wort from the thermal decomposition of S-methylmethionine.
Actually, all jokes aside, I haven't detected the sulfur smell in a long time.
You know, I've noticed we've seemed to, and what have we done? You know what we've done?
Use tap water?
Well, that, and we use a wort chiller.
Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
I think that really changed things, because we get it cold much faster.
Oh, okay, these Northern Brewer hops are 6.4 alpha acids.
Oh,
So this is gonna be medium, kind of medium bittering. So,
it's not too late to change your recipe.
this is what I wanted.
Okay, so,
They're out of Germany, by the way, I forgot to mention that.
all right, out of Germany.
German hops and Cascade hops are American.
What a surprise. They use German and it's.
America. Actually, I guess I could have gone with like a Goldings, a Kent Goldings and a Fuggles, if I really wanted to kind of keep it English, true English, but whatever.
Who cares, man?
Yeah.
It's all good. Anyway, so the off flavor added by high DMS concentrations usually is cream corn, but can also manifest itself as a foul sulfur smell. To get rid of the DMS creating SMM compound, there's a lot of like little abbreviations going on here, that is introduced by the grains during mashing. You want to get your beer, so you want a rolling boil. The half-life of SMM at boiling point is 37 minutes, which means half of the SMM is evaporated from the boil pot at the 37-minute mark. Please don't drop the plastic into the flame itself.
Impossible.
Okay, you're right. DMS added by most grains will disappear completely after the normal 60 minutes. So 60-minute boil becomes the default, likely due to the fact that it is by far the most common boil time in the recipes we all follow. It appears that 60 minutes became the standard because it's the shortest time that you can go and make sure that all those other things happened.
Okay.
So basically 60 minutes is a time saver. That's where it's like, you gotta go this long to get rid of the sulfur smells, to get the caramelization, to get the Maillard effect, to get the hot break, to get the bittering and all this fun stuff to happen. You gotta go that long for that to happen. So now we get to why more than 60 minutes is needed. Of the recipes that require a longer boil time, most are because the grains being used require it. Pilsner malt is one grain that almost always needs a 90-minute boil to help reduce the chances of DMS ruining your beer. But we use Pilsner malt all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We just used 9.9 pounds of it, didn't we?
Yeah, that's not the first time.
Yeah.
We've used 9.9 pounds in the past.
Okay, so this guy's talking about so the whole dimethyl sulfide and the sulfur smell. He says with Pilsner malts, the 90-minute boil helps change that. Other reasons for longer boil time would be to darken or concentrate the wort even more, but this is usually only true for big beers such as Belgian ales, imperial stouts, and some porters or lagers. And I really don't understand why he even mentions that, because at the end of it, you dilute it with water to get yourself back up to 5 gallons. So that doesn't make sense to me.
Use your glass, please.
Yeah, I've been waiting for about 20 minutes. Just saying, Captain Slowpoke. Nurse Steve, call in Nurse Steve. I'll be lucky to get a beer if I keep running my mouth. I better shut up. When you start a home brewing session, you know it's going to take 3 to 4 hours of your day. True.
True statement.
Some of these time-saving methods we've probably all thought about just cutting the 60 minutes down to 45 or 30, which is what your books, that was like one of the originals.
Right.
After all, these 60 minutes are mostly hands-on and require your full attention. Really? Maybe that's why we have such problems. Because we are not hands-on and we do not pay attention. We just let the fire do its thing. Okay, depending on which benefits we listed out at the top of the article.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. It may allow the boil time to be reduced. For example, a light beer that does not require caramelization or the use of low DMS producing malts will let you boil less. Add in the use of reverse osmosis or distilled water, and you can feel confident about the safety of your water with boiling less as well. That's really ridiculous, because after 10 minutes, you're good.
Oh.
10 minutes of boiling, that's what it takes. That's what if you ever do any of the camping things, and they'll tell you, boil the water for 10 minutes, and then you should be safe.
Like the sterilization. If you use cream water or something.
Yes, water boiled for 60 minutes is no more or less sanitized than water boiled for 10 minutes.
Gotcha.
But that's 10 minutes of boiling, right? Not taking 10 minutes until it gets hot.
No, 10 minutes of actual boiling. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. See, in the hot break part, we got that down. You can see all those things just separating right out, precipitating.
So let me look at this hops table, and we'll read a little bit about the hops we're using. So we have
This is another
Centennial.
one of those educational broadcasts.
All right. No, it's Cascade, not Centennial. It's Cascade hops, right?
Cascade, and then
Well, Northern Brewer are the bittering hops, and I forgot what I'm dumb, I have it written down. Wow. See, first time I actually take notes, I forgot I have notes.
that's because we never took
Yeah, okay,
notes.
the finishing hops are the Cascade.
Okay.
So this is alphabetical. So average alpha acid is 4.5 to 7.5. It's written on the package, but it's in the refrigerator. But I'm not really worried about the alpha acids because I'm not going to use them, because the Cascade hops in this case are finishing, so we're not going to actually use those alpha acids. They come from the USA, Cascade Mountains, they're kind of a floral citrusy style character to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm using them for aroma hops, but I'm actually not wanting it to be super hoppy. That's why I'm putting that's why I'm putting the Cascade in at the 5-minute mark rather than like a 2 or 1 minute or 0 minute, because I'm not trying to make a hoppy beer. And the other one we're using is Northern Brewer, which may not be in here. It might be a newer hop variety, because there's a lot of hops out there that are newer than this book. So
Right.
oh, there they are. Okay. Average alpha acid is 6.5 to 10. I believe mine are 6.4, which is fine.
I know, they're sitting right over there. So
So 6.4%. The They come from the USA, Germany, or the UK. This particular batch we have are bagged or whatever, processed by BSG, which is a German company apparently. And they are apparently good for both lagers and ales.
Okay.
Generally used as a bittering hop. That's why I chose them
Okay.
over something else. So it says U.S. crop is usually low on the alpha range. The alpha acid is what you want when you're doing bittering, because that's what you want to boil off your hops so that it counters the sweetness of your extracts or whatever you have.
So the U.S. ones are usually low.
It says usually low end alpha range, the U.S. version of the Northern Brewer hop. So whatever. But hops are going to vary every year. You're not going to have the same hop every year. 1 year the yield might be 6.4, the next year the yield might be 7. You know what I mean? For the same hop, because things like weather and soil all affect what happens, since you're never going to get an identical hop. So these things are just guidelines, what's on this table as far as like the ranges and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I intentionally chose these hops based off what their profile was. Like, yeah, these are better for bittering. Those are better for aroma or flavor, flavoring hops in the end. So
I think it's nothing to do with weight, man.
I know, it's gotta wait. I'm just trying to keep the flame under control so that it doesn't give us
Doesn't explode on us.
Explode on us, yeah.
Especially with this one, man. This is our first
Right?
completely unique recipe.
Now, the true question is, I have 2 ounces of hops here. I only need 1.5 ounces. Actually, probably even a little bit less than that. So I think what I might do is,
Let's go to. What's it do?
well, it's gonna add more alpha acids in there,
True.
which might over bitter it, you know what I mean?
You think?
Mhm.
You added a lot of sugar, man.
I know.
There's a lot of sugar in that beer.
We normally don't put 2 ounces of hops in our beers though.
I know. I understand.
Not 2
Not
ounces
bittering.
of bittering hops, Well,
why don't
usually,
you,
usually it's a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce to 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce on the
go get a measuring spoon or something.
Yeah, well, I was reading in the book here, like if you're using pellets, it recommends using 15% less, because all the guidelines in this are written in a fresh hop sense, like not hop pellets, but like hop flowers. You know what I mean?
But it's not weight for weight, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Well, it just
you're
says if you're
dealing
using
with
pellets,
weight.
well, yeah, the weight was 1.5 ounces.
Well, I can see that because a hop flower that has not been dried will be heavier than
Right.
a hop
And
pellet.
it said if you're using pellets, it said reduce it by 15%. That's like the general guideline for, when you're looking at, when you're comparing, you're using pellets over regular hops, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Hop flowers, I guess.
Come on.
So I think if I use 2 bags, it's gonna be too much. So I think what I might do is just do about 1.5 bags, And then just freeze the other ones, put it in a Ziploc bag, suck it right out and freeze it until we need it again. To be honest with you, so.
So it says 1 1/4.
Yeah. So I'm willing to keep it 1.5. And then go with the 1 ounce.
You just gonna rough guess the half, or you gonna go?
No, I'm gonna go
get
measure
a
it out. I'm
tablespoon or
gonna
something?
just go measure it out. And,
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think it would fine to do that, man. So if you do 15% less than 1.5, it's 1.27.
Yeah, I know, I did all the math on it already, figured it out. And so I was like, well, I mean, it's only a quarter amount that's gonna be different, so is that gonna make that much of a difference? But I think 2 bags would be too much. So 2 ounces, I think, is just way too much. Then again, maybe I could be wrong, maybe it'll add something that we didn't anticipate, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, but you wanna go for what you're anticipating this time.
Yeah.
Think about it. I totally.
I didn't do the math on like the HBUs and stuff, but the bitterness units, but I guess I probably should have. I still can. I can still apply the formula and figure out what the HBUs are gonna be, because I can log it. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm gonna go with 1.5 ounces. I'll just freeze the other half until we need it again.
Yeah, so go, I mean, those are the initial hops, right?
Yeah, those are the.
So
those are
you
the
should
bitter
probably go split them in half right now.
ones. I'm gonna do that.
All right, I'll be right here. watching this kettle.
You entertain, I will split hops.
I don't know who I'm going to entertain. There's nobody to entertain. I'm all by myself in a garage, watching a pot of grain tea, drinking a glass of carbonated grain tea with yeast extracts in it. I don't know. Life's pretty good. All right. We can always eat some more beef jerky. I'm not against that. You don't like beef jerky? Who doesn't like beef jerky? Except in Japan. So Japan was interesting. Japan and South Korea, 2 places I've been. It was one place. I think me and Steve have discussed this. Having the weird fish-based jerkies, like squid jerky and stuff. Very strange. I'm sure completely normal to them, but very interesting to me. Not something I was expecting. I don't know if it would be considered an acquired taste or just something I didn't like. Not unlike the squid intestines, which I will never make. Never like. I don't think there's any way I could ever like squid intestines. Those, absolutely not. But squid jerky is something I could probably grow to like over time, depending on how they made it. I've had all sorts of weird jerkies in my life. Goose jerky. Has anyone ever had goose jerky? I could try goose jerky. Apparently there's chicken jerky too. And, oh, wait, who is this? This is Daniel Roberts from the deep, dark forests of the Amazon of Brazil. How are you, Dan? Good to see you. We're up at the, what are we? Hour and a half mark here. How's life? Newsworthy. Thank you very much, sir. It's good to see you. I'm doing very well, man. We are brewing our very first completely unique to us creation. My friend Steve, who's not on camera right now, he thought up this recipe all on his own. He said how much of each different ingredient he wanted. We're pretty excited about it. Yeah, where have you been, man? Waiting for a response. Still waiting for a response. I think I'm going to get a big TV screen and put it behind the camera so that I can see better.
Okay.
Got it figured out?
Got it figured out.
Cool. Hey, my piano friend, Dan.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
popped
Dan.
in. Yep. Busy staging. But now we have fiber internet at home. You got fiber at home?
B-Brain?
Are you serious?
All right.
Oh, that's cool, man. Because he's down in Brazil.
Oh, okay, right. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and their infrastructure, no offense, Dan, but it's not like Brazil's infrastructure is amazing. People talk about American infrastructure crumbling.
Yeah, I think like Japan and Korea have the best internet infrastructure from what I understand.
Well, South Korea, from what I
South
hear,
Korea, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty intense.
All right.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. That is actually huge. That's gonna help your streaming so much by having a hardcore, stable internet connection. We've actually had a problem with that this broadcast. For some reason, the internet's gone wonky a couple times. I mean, I could hardline in, but we're just running Wi-Fi right now, and usually it works just fine.
Yeah, everything
You know?
we've done in the past was okay. But I think we had just too many people using my internet at once,
Mhm.
streaming, YouTube, kids and family doing things. It's just like, yeah, you all have to stop. we're working right now.
Sweet, man. We'll look forward to some broadcasts from you then.
This is some frothy stuff. We didn't even put dry malt in here.
No, that is frothy, so we're gonna have to be really careful when we have those hops.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. If you can hardwire in, it is always a better connection than Wi-Fi. Even if you have great Wi-Fi.
I think we're close.
Yep, you're moving. We're moving, Dan. We're starting to boil.
And there's boilage.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Get a little bit of movement on there. I'm just gonna kind of trickle these in a little bit.
Yeah. This is the part where things often go wrong. I didn't even go for it, man. All right, there's the half. Okay, slow down, slow down. That foam seems to be growing to me. When you really fill this pot up, man, with that 9 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you brought it. We don't have a lot of room and things start to get exciting.
All right, ready? I'm gonna put a couple in.
Yep, go for it. Yeah, man, although I'm not going to well, yeah, actually, I think I am Periscope just because I didn't shut it off. No, wait. No, this channel doesn't have Periscope. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. That's all I'm doing with this one. Well, that's all that we're doing. The Northwest Brewmeisters. I think my Jamie Aston one is still connected to Periscope. But for whatever reason, I just have not gotten into broadcasting on my other channel, and I really need to.
All right.
And apparently you can go to Twitch too now. They'll support Twitch, but I don't know. You'd be fine because you do classical music, and so you'd be fine. A lot of those cover, a lot of our friends who do cover tunes and stuff, they might run into hiccups with Twitch. Because weren't you saying that, like Metallica?
Yeah, it was like their own legit like sanctioned broadcast, and the Twitch algorithm flagged it and like started like overdubbing with music that wasn't their music because they were using Twitch to broadcast. It was during the height of the pandemic, so everything was all we're good, man. We're good. Everything was all streamed and stuff.
So yeah, Metallica is performing their own songs, and the Twitch algorithm got rid of the audio and put something on top. I think you can already use OBS on here. You can use the virtual camera. I know for certain. That's something eventually we're going to buy. We might want to buy another camera because we'd like to have a camera facing down so you can see the wart.
You can use OBS to switch between cameras.
That's getting a little violent, dude. Like, that's violent. A violent boil. It's not supposed to be a violent boil. It's supposed to be a calm, rolling boil.
Oh, it's making it difficult to keep it still spinning.
Oh, yeah. It's seething, actually. It's like, run! The seething wart is coming for you! Yeah, you totally need to do that. But I'd like to use the fact that with OBS you can run multiple cameras and stuff, and then just use the virtual camera. The problem is finding the time in my life to actually experiment with these things, because I don't really want to experiment in the middle of a broadcast and have it fall apart.
Right.
Rather experiment with something else. I suppose we could set up like a test account, not tell anybody about it.
Just to play with it.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle.
Right, calibrating.
Looks pretty good.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And
Textbook.
You know how Peter always says that's the way forward? My friend Steve always calls our boils textbook. Textbook boil.
All right, that's good.
And we're frozen.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the little tiny screen is not frozen, but the big screen is frozen.
Yeah, that always happens. When we have
Never-
good, when we have good internet, according to that meter, it freezes on us.
Yeah, but also I noticed it's after a while. Hey Dan, I don't know, how long are your broadcasts usually, Dan? What do you run? Half an hour or so, maybe more?
I'm just gonna rotate the stuff.
Just stuff.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you guys?
We're good.
Yeah, I'm making beer. Yeah.
Yeah, we find that our little monitoring window, anytime you hit like an hour and a half, because our broadcasts are stupid long. They're anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. I'm talking with my friend Dan. So we find that our monitoring window freezes at some point, and it just doesn't unfreeze. Scooters for hooters, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Wow.
What? I'm a guy. I'm allowed to.
Oh no, I'm just.
Your wife already came in and blasted herself into like X.
I know, right?
Well, I got 2 more X's to go. Yeah, but it's different though because we entertain ourselves. It's a lot easier to like entertain ourselves when he's actually here. Obviously, he's not here right now. He's off camera. Sit down, Stephanie. You can entertain me. Hello, folks. Welcome our special guest, Stephanie.
Hi.
Who is filling in for Steve, who has spent most of this broadcast off camera. Anyhow, but yeah, we talk and we brew beer, and it takes a long time to brew beer. And so you've been replaced, dude.
Hope you know what you're doing then.
This is
That's all
the
you know.
Northwest Brewmeisteress.
Right?
Oh man, she even took your beer. I like this
Yeah.
girl. That is harsh.
Would you like beer?
Please.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, I'm making dinner and dessert.
Are you making? What you making?
Fried chicken.
Oh.
And I have
When will
homemade.
this fried chicken be done?
Well, I gotta start here soon.
Oh, well, you gotta start it.
And then homemade banana cream pie.
Ooh. That sounds really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do? What'd you use? I did the Johnson & Johnson, so I only had 1 shot.
Smells nice and hoppy in here.
That smells good, man.
Now I want ice cream.
Now you want ice cream? I know, I've been staring at that all broadcast. It's like 4-quart electric ice cream maker, easy cleanup.
And it's never been used.
What? That needs to change. You did the AstraZeneca, I did the Johnson & Johnson. Did you get vaccinated yet?
I think
Yeah.
we've almost floated this keg.
What did you do, Steve? What did you do for a vaccine?
Moderna
What did you do?
Pfizer.
times 2.
We've done all the vaccines.
Moderna. And we're going.
So you never
Answer
answered.
good, Stephanie. Yeah, go on.
Dan, does your little monitoring screen on HAP, does it ever freeze? Ours freezes every single episode.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we go anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours.
Chips. You guys got all the good stuff out here.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're prepared
Snacks.
for snacks.
pretty much ready to just live out here. And we got beer. Are we really getting
Wow.
down to the bottom of that thing?
I've been helping.
Yeah, it's I can tip it with my 1 finger now. It's close to full.
Okay, that's great.
But yeah, remember, I mean, I've been drinking on it for a few weeks. You know, you've been drinking it with me.
Yeah, because
I
I'm
brought a
home
growl
at
over
night now.
yesterday, so I mean,
Been hitting it.
we've been hitting that keg.
I'm home every night now.
So I
Oh.
think I need to just skip that second rack of keg.
Are we in the
that
off
fine
season?
keg.
No, I don't work at Sketchet anymore.
Oh,
I have a job working at a dog training facility.
well, that's good.
You sure?
Were you working at night? Were you working nights at Skagit?
Yeah.
I hate night shift. I mean, I know you liked it
I liked it.
because it fit your lifestyle, but
Well, fit our schedule. Our
Yeah.
schedule, yeah.
all right, take it easy, Dan. Thanks for dropping in, man.
See you, Dan.
What are we sitting at? So you're gonna add this at 5.
Mhm.
Next one at 5. So now we're just
at
waiting.
50 minutes.
Yeah, we got some time.
But here soon, we're gonna have to break off and start getting everything prepped. Getting all this stuff rinsed and ready to go.
Right. Well,
About 20 minutes or so, you know.
yeah. Right now it's my turn to step off camera,
You off camera.
and you can entertain.
Are you not entertained?
I ain't totally entertained. On the way.
I'm about to say we all do that now.
Now it's all nice and sunny. A couple hours ago it was raining.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole reason we're in the garage is because.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, it was a good choice.
It's fine.
Because if we'd have decided to push through, it would have sounded like that little pop, 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 pop
Oh, I know,
little
right?
broadcast. Because it would have rained on us.
Yes.
So this recipe is my own design. We're not actually doing
I was
something
about
else.
to ask. I was actually about to ask you what recipe
Yeah.
is it?
We haven't named it yet. We decided we're gonna name it after we get the first completed taste. You know, we'll name it at that point. We'll see it. We're gonna see if anything comes to mind based off the flavor. So
The thing is, you know what else I was thinking? We need to like develop some naming conventions that we use. Like, do we want to use Latin-y terms or
I mean, I guess we could.
you want to just call them what they are?
Yeah, we just don't want to use like those weird, just like trying too hard, dumb names. You know?
Yeah, like unicorn blood or
You know.
baby poo juice. These stupid names. Some of these guys come up with.
It can always start with S and J.
Yeah.
S&J, yeah.
S and
S&J
J or
and then
J and
what-
S or whatever, you know.
I don't know. S and J just kind of.
I gotta give it, yeah, SJ. SJ is a little bit better than JS.
S and J. But that and then whatever your flavor is afterwards.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or you could call it Insipticus primus.
That's a little too Latin-y, man.
Okay.
I mean, I like it,
A
but
little too made up.
it's
too.
probably going to confuse some people and be like, what? Is this a transformer or is it a beer?
I was about to say. Sounds like
Well, I've noticed-
Latin for Optimus
You know, I've
Prime.
noticed
Right.
some breweries, they'll just call it Scotch Ale,
All right.
right? But it'll be like, well, what makes this Scotch Ale? Well, it's because it's from Kettle House Brewery or it's from Big Sky. Some breweries go crazy. You know, Big Sky has Boost Rule. And,
Right. I mean, we want to try to have a creative name, but it's not a weird name where it's just like, really, you know?
well, it's like the ones that irritate me are the ones that are like borderline offensive, like unicorn blood. It's like, no, I'm not horribly offended by that, but it's like,
It kind of detracts. It's like, you know, makes me think of what kind of fear is that, you know?
yeah,
That you would name it after a blood, you know? I mean, I get it. It's kind of cool, unicorn blood, you know, but still.
Supposedly unicorn blood like instilled health and longevity of your life kind of thing.
Now wait, are you going off true mythology or are you going off Harry Potter?
Some mythology. There's quite a few different stories before Harry Potter.
Did Harry
Oh,
Potter tout unicorn blood as a?
Yeah,
Okay.
unicorn blood was one of the ways that Voldemort managed to stay alive.
Oh,
But in some stories it continues on
Right.
that
that might have been grounded in some actual myth, you know? A lot of writers use real myth to shape their
Well, yeah,
stories.
I mean, Rowling. I mean, her story was good. Like, it was captivating. It was fun. Her characters were good. You know, kind of at the
Right.
entertainment level, right? Not deep literature level, but at the entertainment level.
Sure. I
But
got
she
you.
definitely used a lot of classic stereotype type stuff.
Right.
You know, riding brooms and things like that.
Sure.
And then, what happened?
they turn them into movies.
Well, yeah.
They grew up, I don't know.
A lot of money.
She mentioned some of her own personal views.
Yeah, and that kind of cooked her right there. That was done. How dare you?
There's
go
that
against
cancel
the grain.
culture thing kicking in.
However, to her credit, I don't think she ever apologized to the woke mob.
She did not, and all the people who were saying they were going to burn all her merchandise, she says, "Go ahead, because you already bought it."
It's like, you're
Sure, I've already got the money.
dumbasses.
It's like, and then in 5 years, when you regret it, you'll have to buy it again. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatevs.
I will say, I read some of the books, and I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's because I saw the movies first, or I saw the first
Throw it
movie
away.
first. What?
Why don't you throw that away?
Oh, that's
You don't have to sneak.
You saying I smell bad?
No.
Yes. I don't know.
Thanks, Stephanie. Special guest who came on just to insult me.
He was saying it, not me. I was translating.
You were translating. Okay. By the way, Dan's our #1 sponsor. He gave us $1.
No, sweet. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the $1, man. Awesome.
And you thanked him after he left?
Yeah,
I know, right?
he's long gone. Well, he's in Brazil. Brazil is actually, if you look at the time zones, it's like out in the middle of the Atlantic as
Yeah,
far
he's
as the
probably
time
like-
zone.
Probably like 6 hours ahead of us or something.
Well, England is 8. They're 8 hours ahead of us. So yeah, 6 probably. I don't know. He has it all. He has it all dialed in.
Yeah, because if you ever want to call or do stuff.
Well, and the other thing is Dan does this much more than we do. You know, like we do it every other 2 weeks and every other week, and it's just for fun. What we're really doing is brewing beer, right? The broadcasting is almost kind of a side.
Just for fun.
Yeah, we just roll the camera and then we just don't pay attention. Like the audio on this broadcast is gonna be horrible because it's gonna be all echoey. We're moving garage doors and kids are coming in and out, and our support staff is 12 years old, can't even drink the beer that he's researching for us off to the side.
Wait, which
That-
12-year-old? Mine?
That would be your
Yeah.
son.
Hey,
And he was hanging out with us for a little bit.
he's very useful. Hey, he's one of your most.
He is. He's
Followers.
one of our biggest fans, actually. He's great.
You know, he's been on every, like, logged into every broadcast.
Mhm.
Except for this one. Unless
Nope.
he's on it now.
Well, he logged in. He didn't say anything today. Like, he didn't write a text.
Because he's playing Grand Theft Auto.
Well, yeah, and that and the fact that when he was here watching, he was right there. Like, right there, just barely off camera.
I had to look at him and I was like, you guys need to go inside because they were trying to up to something. They kept kind
Yeah.
of scooting over. I'm just like,
They
ah.
were starting to be sneaky. I saw
Yeah,
that.
they were being
Spawnage
sneaky.
is he does home connection now. And so he has a small engine class, a woodworking class, and a carpentry class.
Does that mean that you have to buy the small engines and the gear?
No, we did the tools, but I mean, it never hurts to have a
No, it
tool,
never hurts
especially
to
with bikes, with his
Yeah.
bikes and whatnot.
Right.
But supposedly they provide the motors, and in week 2, him and a group will be tearing down and
So is he gonna
rebuilding
go
small
somewhere?
motors. So small engine class, depending on what's going on with, the Roni. He might take field trips to auto part stores, mechanic shops. For carpentry class, 90% of the class is all on
Ooh, excuse me.
owner sites because they're actually building sheds for owners.
Right. But he's gonna go somewhere and actually touch
Yes, he's
carpentry
actually
stuff. He's gonna
going.
work on a small
He's going
engine.
to help build sheds, and he's going to tear apart and rebuild small engines.
That's really exciting. So my church has started a school, and from what I hear, it's pretty successful right now. And it's a hybrid model between homeschooling, where parents actually do the instruction, which of course is pretty easy to do at the 6-year-old level.
Yeah.
Even I can teach a kid how to say 2 + 2 is 5. Even I can do this.
5.
Yep, definitely 5.
Damn,
Holy.
I was wrong.
Right?
I thought it was 7.
See, you should come to my school. I will educate you. But my point being, at the really low levels, where you're just like CAT, how to spell cat, all these things, any parent can do this. And then for some of the things that are a little more, that require a little more knowledge or in depth into a field, then they actually have teachers that come in and they meet on, I think they meet on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They actually have a meet where the kids come, and they're using our church, of course, but they'll come to the church and they have teachers who actually teach subject matter.
That's kind of how Home Connection runs. So you have two options. You can fully homeschool, where you teach all this stuff, and then you, as a parent, talk to the teacher and say, this was what he learned, this was his goals met, and whatnot.
Right?
And then the other option is they go in X amount of days a week, and then you go home, and then they go home and kind of work with you to finish it off. And so,
well, I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think
so
this.
he decided he wanted to be in class for the core subjects, and then he's like, oh, I want to do running club, and I want to do this and that. So he has a bunch of electives. But what's cool is, because he does the motocross and works out and whatnot, I have to fill out paperwork, and he can get high school credits in 7th grade.
Well,
and
you know,
he can work up and by 90, well, I guess like 80-90% of the students in Home Connection,
Yeah.
they're already working ahead because you can.
Right.
Most of their students who go through high school have an associate's degree by the time they get their high school diploma.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And of course, the important thing is just that you have to be able to demonstrate that you're learning like core competencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's really interesting that all these alternative educational models have sprung up and are actually gaining traction and hanging in there, because the public school system in the United States has really stagnated.
Well, it's so outdated. It's designed for a world that's factory workers, which
Well, yeah,
really
not
doesn't
only
have a place here. in
right, and not
society
only
these
that,
days.
but as we've gone on, they've added so many things that really either parents should teach them or your church should teach them or whatever, but it is not some random stranger who has your child for 8 months in their entire life, you know?
But most parents don't teach nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
They had to add it on because parents weren't teaching them.
Well, they didn't have to add it on. They did add it on. I mean, because they felt it was important to be taught. It's like,
I mean, how
don't
many
think.
stories have you heard where students aren't doing homework and it's the teacher's fault?
Yeah, of course. It's all the teacher's fault.
So it's the same, same concept. I ain't teaching my kid nothing, but why aren't you?
Right,
You should teach my kid that.
You're supposed to teach my kid in the 50 minutes a day that you have him. You should get my kid to do all of this. Who needs more beer?
I do. I'm
One.
looking up some stuff here.
What you looking up?
I wanted to see if I can get some more insight on old ale or strong ales, like what we're making.
So are those two terms interchangeable? Old ale, strong ale?
It looks like it.
Because we're pansy.
Well, English old ale, English strong ale.
Because I hold that one.
I guess you have to preface it with English to make it interchangeable, maybe. Because IPA is strong ale, if you think about it. Thank you.
But I think
Well, the thing is a stout is a strong ale.
Right, I think if we're gonna talk about this beer that we're making, we should probably preface it with English, old ale, English style, strong ale.
But yeah, like Jason's been helping tear apart and fix and oil change the dirt bikes, but he didn't quite understand what was going on. The parts, the pieces, the mechanics behind it.
Right.
So he's hoping that this class will teach him, hey,
Mhm.
this is kind of the mechanics behind it. Get the understanding.
We'll give the whole composition
and he was
behind the
thinking-
internal combustion engine.
And one of his ideas behind what he wants to do with a career is like something in woodworking and carpentry. So we're like, hey, let's do this. And if it's something that you're actually interested in, then when you're older, you can get, apprentice behind someone who knows the field and whatnot.
Although I tell you what, I would not be surprised in the next 20 years, motocross will still be around, but they'll all be electric.
Oh yeah, they're already getting there.
There's nothing wrong with that. Electric motors they are torquey sons of
So
guns.
they came out with those electric 50s, KTM and Husqvarna.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are sick.
Do they snap pretty hard?
Oh yeah, those are quick little bikes, and you can't hear them. They're silent killers. They'll come up right behind you. Next thing you know, you're just getting sprayed with rocks and dirt. And you're like, what the heck just happened?
What the hair?
You need to keep your head on the swivel more than you do on an aircraft carrier, because them suckers are quiet.
They'll zip right up on you. So, but they're 50s and what's?
Right now they're 50s, and I think the 250s are electric. And of course, the trials bikes are a lot of them are electric now.
Yeah, I mean, just if you look at electric motors, I mean, all of our trains are electric motors.
The only downfall with the electric bikes, no clutch. So if you're dual riding a bike that's electric and non, it messes you up because one has a clutch, one doesn't.
So they don't have transmissions; they're just direct.
However
Fast
hard
as
you
the
hit
motor.
the throttle is how fast you're gonna go. Period.
Gotcha.
Well, you know, the Tesla cars, they still have transmissions, but they're like 2-speed transmissions. You know.
Or if they do have transmission, it's automatic. There's no shifting. You know, as opposed to Chase's current bikes, which he actively has to shift up and down.
Right. How much does he actually use the clutch, though? I mean,
You have to do it when you stop, when you start, and then
Right,
certain
obviously.
corners. Like if he's slamming on his brakes hard, he has to pull in that clutch. But
yeah,
if he's
'cause
going
it'll kill
straight
him.
away, shifting up, then it's just.
Yeah, he just pops through the gears. Yeah.
So when he's going to a corner, he'll grab clutch, downshift as needed, is hitting the brake to the right gear.
Mm-hmm. And then
And
get
then
himself
he-
back going again.
Yeah, lets it go and keeps going. So just corners and start and stop.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, is that an electric motor can still benefit from a transmission because as the electric motor increases in RPMs, as it gets up to the top set of its RPMs, it loses both horsepower and torque. An electric motor has all of its horsepower and all of its torque at 0. That's where it's the most powerful, at 0. And then it kind of goes, its power curve kind of goes out straight, and then it dips off. It's not like a gas motor or an internal combustion motor where it goes up and hits a peak, and then there's the whole
Yeah, you have your
torque versus horsepower cross point where that's the perfect area. Electric motor is just a flat line and then dies.
sweet spot.
All right.
Every 2-stroke and 4-strokes have their sweet spots.
2-stroke engine tried to kill me.
2-stroke engine tries to kill a lot of people.
I was riding around in a gravel pit and I came off this little hump thing, right? Came off it, this is fun, and I hit the power band, front wheel comes off, and I drove off a cliff. Just like that. It's just like, literally, you ever see those movies where the opening credits and you're kind of flying, and it's like you're in an airplane, right? And you're flying over, and then it comes over the one big ridge and the ground just disappears, and it's like you're suddenly looking up. Yes, I saw that in real life. It's just like, so I come off this hump, which is no taller than like those desks, like a table, right?
Yeah.
It's just a dirt mound about the size of a table. I'm like, this is perfect for me, and I was getting more and more confident, and I was having fun. And I came off, and I hit, and I just clanked into that power band. It's like,
You whiskey throttle.
oh yes, front wheel came up, no steering at this point. Like, what? And I just rode a wheelie right off this cliff. Just, what? And I just like looked, and the ground went, poof, it was gone. It was like, that's enough of you. This is gonna hurt.
Are you done recording? No.
We're not recording, kiddo. We're streaming.
No.
No, we're not done yet, kiddo. We don't get done until the beer goes in the big bottle. So.
Yeah.
What,
Don't
you
worry,
need something?
sweetie. It's not too much longer.
Do you need something?
No, she wants YouTube.
Ah, you can sacrifice
you can-
2 hours
you can
of your life
sacrifice.
every 2 weeks.
Dude, and not even every 2 weeks. It's like every 4 weeks, because don't you guys kind of, for the most part,
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
most of it in my place. You're right.
So, I mean, it's not even 1 day, 2 hours.
We'll live
every
without
2
YouTube
weeks.
for a while.
You'll be okay.
Can't you watch like Disney Plus and all those, or does that
No,
do the
because
same thing?
it uses the internet. So
Oh,
it's-
using the TV.
because it's been for some reason today the bandwidth is just terrible, and
Because
By
it's
having-
sunny out, can't you tell?
having too much stuff going on, it's eating up.
You should call your internet service provider, darling.
Or
And
I don't
find-
know. Or I
Well,
don't know, go to
we'll
my
figure it
house
out.
and ask if Chase will turn a show movie on for you in his
We
house.
hope you're
Everyone else is
entertained
there.
with this broadcast. It's amazing.
Yeah, right.
It's everywhere.
We have there's no script here. How much time we got, man?
About 32 minutes.
32?
So at the 30-minute mark, I'm going to break off and start getting the stuff cleaned up and
Yeah, you
Ready.
go to my house.
so
Or play with my hair. Okay.
like rinsed and positioned, that kind of thing.
So we're going to
Oh, yeah.
sanitize the
So-
wort chiller.
So we'll spray it off with the hose, and And
Good
then we'll-
idea.
And then
You
we'll
don't need
sanitize
any
it like
water
the
or
last
anything like that.
15 minutes of the boil.
Or no
Just throw it in there.
sprays.
I'm getting a hairbrush.
And then, yeah. I'm gonna get that, I'm gonna get a bottle rinse, get everything else rinsed. We're gonna need to sanitize the packs here a little bit, so I'm not gonna actually gonna dump that water. What's up?
Chase also is learning how to play guitar this year.
Yeah, you told me that.
Really?
The acoustic guitar. So he's taking a guitar class.
Cool.
So.
So now how does that work?
And
Does
a
he-
coding class.
Does he have like a tutor or a guitar teacher?
It's guitar teacher. 1 day a week, he'll go to class and he has a teacher who'll teach him, and then he has to practice 4 times a day for 15 minutes.
So how is that paid for?
Same thing as if you went to public school.
Okay.
Same
Cool.
concept.
I mean, so that's where all this.
So at least the tax dollars are going through interesting stuff.
Well, you know, I'm all about that, like the whole concept of charter schools and things like that, and school
Some
vouchers.
sort of alternative learning and different
Yeah.
ways other than the basic school system. But what's cool is he only goes certain times and certain days of the week, depending on the class list he has.
Mhm.
So he goes 5 days, he has 5 days a week of school, but Fridays is his carpentry class. So
Right.
the class itself is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. But you can be
Gotcha.
there from 9 to 4. And that's when he's actually there building a shed.
Mhm.
So he has like English, and he has like Monday, Tuesday, running club, Wednesday, that's good talk, I think. Woodworking, yes. There for your classes. You can leave early, late. Whole classroom that's just nothing but hall. So you can go help or classes, you can go outside if you want, library, computer, all that fun stuff. But if your class is 2 days a week, you're in a classroom a week.
Sure.
So it's no longer 6+ hours in a classroom 5 days a week. You
It's
learn,
just interesting. So it's a lot more. It's a lot more like a college design class. I mean, it seems like more college design
Mhm.
education.
but it requires the parents to be more involved. The teachers, the way we're doing it is the teachers will teach him the material, but when you're at home, the parents are expected to help solidify the material and the information and make sure everything's done.
Well, yeah, and make sure the homework is performed and things like that.
Yeah. But he doesn't have to spend all day, every day in a classroom not learning much. He did look at me once, he's like, do I get recess? And I'm like, dude, in between classes, go outside and play.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's your recess. You know, so like 1 day a week he has first period, and that's his woodworking class. That's it. So he only has to be in school at 8:30 1 day a week.
And he actually goes to the building.
So goes to the building. The rest of the time it's like between fourth and sixth period. So
Mhm.
Mondays I think he has to be there because of his coding class at 10:30 a.m.
So he does have times when he has to actually go to the building, but for most of his stuff, he's like either on the computer or he's at the house.
Yeah.
Doing his thing.
So
That is interesting.
he has to meet up with his teachers for certain times and days. And then the rest of the time he's at home, learning with the parents or on himself. And if he has questions, he has access to the teachers at all times if needed. But he's just not in a building, all day, every day.
And he's in 7th grade.
Yes.
But he's still gonna need to do, I mean, obviously, so what kind of testing is there? What kind of, and I'm not
So-
talking about testing for the sake of testing, I'm talking,
The state testing.
well, you have to,
So
no matter what system you set up, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's lawn mowing or house painting or something, there has to be a system that demonstrates that the people who are being instructed are actually grasping the concepts and know this
So-
stuff. So, and the way we do that for the most part is standardized testing, because it's the easiest
If
way
you're
that
there-
we can think of.
full-time, you have your normal standardized testings.
Mm-hmm.
But from what they were saying, if you're not there full-time, they have different styles of testing where you just kind of show a mild proficiency, not standardized testing.
So you still have to.
But it's more of a proficiency, not an actual test.
Yeah, but you still. I mean, the important part.
Yeah, I think
Standardized
it's more
testing
for the
gets a really bad rap, but
So-
the thing is, you have to have something.
standardized testing is U.S. kind of level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you do if you're there full time. If you're homeschool, it is just your school style testing where they say, have you learned the material and whatnot? But it doesn't go to the government kind of thing because it's your school saying, did you learn the material?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. As opposed to big government giving you your little Scantron bubble sheet. It's,
Right. But you have to. I guess the thing is, I've heard the whole argument about how evil standardized testing is. It's like, that's fine, but have you
So,
presented some other
my
method
issue-
of evaluating?
my
Whether
issue was,
this-
so I learned this in my 9th grade class because or 10th grade, an amazing American history teacher, Mr. Cook. I still talk to him to this day.
Yeah.
And he looked at us, he goes, I understand some of you have test anxieties. Growing up all the way through college, I could not take a test to save my life. Every test. So he looks at me and goes, I know some of you have test issues, but I want to make sure it's real. So he gave me a test, failed it. And so he came up to me another day and he started asking me these questions, and I just popped off, got them all right.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you suck at tests, don't you? And I go, yes, I do. And so he came up with a way to teach me how to take tests to help me do it without freaking out and failing. And so a lot of the issues with standardized testing is they don't teach you good methods and ways to take these tests. They just say you need to take it. And a lot of kids are failing or getting lower marks because they have test anxieties or they just suck at tests and under pressure. Without giving ways saying, hey, well, maybe you just need a little extra help. Or, hey, let's give you a test taking class to teach you the best way to take tests for you.
Mm-hmm.
And having them timed where instead of having, a full school day to take a test, you have 2 hours, which puts so much more pressure on an 8-year-old who shouldn't have that much pressure in their life at 8 years old. You haven't learned coping mechanisms.
The world is harsh.
It is.
I
But-
think we should just be beating children. I don't know where you're trying. I was with you until you were that pressure thing. I'm like, no, man. We need to put these little buggers in a pressure cooker and see which
But
one's
how many
cracked.
people do? If you're saying, hey, you suck at school or you don't, you either need to teach them the tools to handle pressure or you need to completely revamp the model. So if you're at home and your kid's learning what pressure is, Spawn knows what pressure is. He deals with it regularly. He's fine.
Most people who are into competitive sports do.
But how many kids are in actual competitive sports?
Not many.
Or how many parents say, hey, nope, sink or swim, dude. You got to figure this out. I'll help you. But if you fail, that's on you, dude. It's,
Well, we have much.
most kids now it's okay, you're fine, you're a winner.
Even when you're not.
It's okay, baby, it's okay, it's okay. So they've never learned pressure, they've never learned how to overcome and adapt. So we either have to teach them in school or we have to change the model where we remove that pressure until they do learn what it is and how to work through it. Because even when I was in school, I did competitive sports, but I still had test anxiety. So even though I had straight A's in school, all my standardized testing showed I was at a lower level.
See, I've never had test anxiety
You know,
because I've always been good at tests.
I've always sucked at tests, but
It's like
thankfully
I
had,
knew. So when you already know that you're good at something, and they're like, "We need you to do this," I'm like,
I knew I was
"No
good at the
problem."
material. A teacher could come up to me at any time, any day and say, what is the answer? And I could tell. The moment I stared at a test, done. Especially when it was timed. If he says you have all day, all class time, and if you need it next class, I'd have it done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I got in trouble once on tests. I got caught 3 tests ahead.
But, it was one of those, like, just removing just a hair bit of pressure, I was able to excel at the test. Or the teacher saying, hey, here's the information. I answered every question on his test right verbally, but I couldn't do it on the test that he just gave me a day prior. It's not that I learned all the information in a 24-hour period.
Mhm.
And so he figured out that there might be a different method. And so he learned with me just saying, you have 2 days to do the test, no problem, take your time. I got it done in 10 minutes. But he was the exception, not the norm of teachers.
Well, and the other thing is there's only so much you can do, you know?
You know.
Is the timer gonna go off?
No, it's not. You're gonna have to watch it.
Oh,
It's in 21 minutes,
All right,
so you
So
have 15
5
minutes.
got you. That
So-
was the question. Did you
You
set
know-
it for?
No,
Even if
I don't
it's-
do that. I just do the whole time and then just watch it and
There's a baby girl.
update it as needed.
So, you know, even if it's something simple as when you're in a younger grade, before you start taking the standardized tests,
I only-
start working in how to take tests. Something simple, like, hey, don't just answer questions if you're not sure, kind of read through everything, relax,
Mhm.
breathe.
Answer the questions you know first, then come back for the other ones?
No one taught us that. No one teaches kids that, unless you have a really good, amazing
So
teacher.
Thank you.
And I hate to say it, sometimes that's few and far in between in the public school system, because they're all burned out and quit.
Well, not all teachers are great at their jobs.
That
No.
too. The good ones are burned out and quit.
But then again, here in America, our veterans are all heroes. You're a veteran, I'm a veteran, and we both know, guess what, folks? They're not all heroes. There are some real dirtbags in the United States military.
Honestly, I don't see how I'm a hero. I literally stood on a flight deck going, goodbye.
Well, there you go. That works.
I sent off
But-
the pilots. I was safe on an aircraft carrier.
I don't know.
In the
man.
groups of a battle station, I think we had more harm from ourselves than we did anyone else.
Well, that is, we're totally shifting gears. You can hear it. Just like we're going from first gear to reverse gear.
It's fine. It's fine.
But still, it's that. No, you're absolutely right. There's that whole.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're sitting on the flight deck. It's like
My heart,
nobody messes with an aircraft carrier. You know the ones that bothered me though? Those little dhows. Those little short 20, 30-foot boats are filled with tarps and boxes. It's like, I realize that if some crazy jihadi jumps up out of one of those boxes and fires a Stinger missile, he's not going to cripple this ship. He's not going to stop this ship at all. But if I'm the poor sucker that's standing in that spot where that missile hits, I'm going to have a really bad day.
but I mean, like, very few people target an aircraft carrier. They're
Nobody.
not going to onboard anything on an aircraft carrier. Why? Because we're surrounded by cruisers.
You got the whole battle group.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that protects the aircraft carrier. And if they do damage part of it, it's still
works.
going. And it's still launching jets. And
That's right.
they're going to target.
And now they're coming after you.
They're going to target the smaller ones, the ones that look like, the ocean's going to swallow them up whole in any type of way.
Although, I'll tell you what, there's not a single bad guy, quote unquote, out there that wouldn't love to seriously hurt an aircraft carrier.
They all would.
They would feel
But they
special.
all know that the odds of that happening, because, I mean, by the time they get close enough to be in range, they're already done, because
Well, yeah, you're not going to make it because you've got the destroyers, you've got the cruisers, you've got the submarine, who nobody knows where they are, but they're there. You've got that whole battle crew.
not to
doing
mention
its
you have
thing.
all the, the electronic planes that going out that's checking everything everywhere,
Mhm.
So-
We're on one cruise and we got buzzed by an Iranian P-3, right? And this young airman doesn't know anything, writes this like 5-page email and sends it to the whole ship. I can't believe you would allow. And of course, all of us senior people are like, dude, they saw that plane coming before
And they probably
it
knew it was
launched.
an ally.
Yeah, well, it was Iranian. I doubt it was an ally, but the thing is like, we knew where that plane was.
We knew
where
it
it
was
was
going.
coming. We knew its flight path. We knew any support aircraft that might be out there with it. We knew everything. We're like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You feel special. You buzzed an aircraft carrier. Go back. Tell the mullahs how amazing you are. That's fine. Yay. Good for you. Bye. Have fun storming the castle. You know, it's just. And this airman was going off. It's like, you are a special kind of stupid, Airman Schmuckatelli.
Like I said, on the aircraft carrier, for the most part, the most danger you have is if you're not paying attention on a flight deck, you're going to hurt yourself.
That is one of the worst parts about being an aircraft carrier sailor. You don't die fighting the bad guy. You die in an industrial accident. You know, and
Because you didn't listen to the daisy chain.
I've known every cruise I've been on, we lost at least one or two.
We had one guy, it was nighttime, and they were on the back of the boat, because, prowlers
Mm-hmm.
tail over water. Well, they were on the back.
Or on the finger.
And he hit that slick spot where it kind of rounds up and curves on the back. He hits that slick spot, slides right down off the back, lands right in the netting.
That had to hurt. Oh, I knew I was going to break this.
You saw on him absolute perfect netting pattern from those steel cable nets.
Hey, Bailey, is your dad going to be really mad because I broke this chair?
At you? No.
Yeah, I got it.
I didn't do it. That was ours. I thought that was yours.
No, these are your chairs.
I don't
You
know.
want more? Sure. You want some more? You can have some more.
Yay! At least until it ends.
Yeah, eventually this keg is going to be empty. But
We'll find it tonight.
until it is, we'll just keep going. I'm sure there's more beer in this town that we can drink. Somewhere.
Oh, I forgot there was a mud run today.
Is there?
Mud run.
Is that right?
So it was called the Dirty Dog Mud Race kind of thing at Hannigan in Bellingham. So you
Yeah.
get trails and you get muddy, and we were gonna take Spawn there, but we completely forgot, and it's fine.
Well, do you think Spawn is upset about it?
Spawn doesn't even know they were running today.
Well, then you just keep your mouth shut and everything will be
Maybe
fine.
east.
I have bad news, man.
What?
I broke your chair.
How did that happen?
I went to get up and this arm went.
Oh, you know what? It's actually not my chair. It's her chair.
Oh, well,
I broke your chair.
dang it! You owe me 5 new ones.
No, it's not my fault.
I don't care. Those
Okay,
things are
this
probably cool.
apparently that arm is a very critical part of this chair.
You don't want to be here.
We're done. We're done. Hope, get down to the chair. No dying here.
All that's
We'll
left
be-
is to sanitize the yeast packs. And,
Yeah, you do that. Go for it.
everything else is ready for transfer.
This chair will never be part of the broadcast again.
Say goodbye, chair.
Goodbye, chair.
Is there
That
another
was
chair?
actually kind of funny. It's like, whoa! I didn't realize that arm was so critical.
Roni!
No, not even close. I are
There's a
maximum
perfectly empty chair right here for you.
Yeah, I know, but this is my
Feel it.
spot.
Then put that there.
Should, but I don't know.
It's not like he's using it.
Oh, he's not. Oh,
I got my happy little stool.
Do it. Do it.
See, now we're closer. You can't read the comments as well.
Yeah, there haven't been any comments for 15 minutes, anyways.
Since
But I
Dan
guess-
left?
What's that?
Since what, Dan left?
Dan, yeah, he took off.
So no comments since he left?
I'm kind of upset that Bo Adams didn't show up.
Oh, I know. Maybe he's busy or something.
Well, you know, you can't.
There's supposed to be grand.
I showed up in person.
What?
No!
Not to your house. He would show up.
Oh, you are
So-
so clueless, kid.
So there's a guy. He's another Navy veteran. Who was he lives down in Las Vegas, and he comes every so. He tends to watch our broadcasts, and he wasn't here today, and that's okay. Where did you learn to comb hair? Because it seems like you're making the top nice and that, and you're just turning the bottom into a rat's nest that she's gonna have to cut off with scissors.
I'm kind of used to it.
You
You see what I'm doing?
This is not the first time she's done my hair. Though I did get new shampoo and conditioner, which made it a lot softer, which makes it a little harder to actually like not.
That's what I'm watching. She's brushing like the top 6 inches, and the bottom 6 inches are just turning into this nest.
It's alright. She'll brush my hair, and she's like, "Rip," and I'm like, "Ugh," and she's like, "I'm like, start from the bottom." I am.
It's a good thing you're tough.
Just keep swimming.
Are you actually looking at the wine feed?
The hydrometer.
The hydrometer.
I hope this.
It would probably work way better fast yet here, bro.
I don't know how to use it either. Is it supposed to be green at the bottom?
I guess we just fill this. I don't know if we're supposed to put it at the top or what.
I don't think you have to fill it that much.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's based off volume, so you're expected to fill it to a certain amount.
Quick, loyal viewership, tell us how to use a wine feed.
No, it's not a wine thief, man.
What the heck's a wine
It's a
thief?
hydrometer.
Okay, don't worry about the wine thief. We've got that
A
figured
wine
out.
thief is just a
Hydrometer.
long straw for taking samples out of the
Oh.
bottle.
Thank
So
you.
like
I
a
know this.
pipette.
Stop insulting me.
Like a pipette kind of thing.
Kind of like a turkey baster, but longer.
But each hydrometer manufacturer, it has their own instructions, which I don't have any instructions with this one.
Oh, that's not good.
So I don't know how much to put in the graduated cylinder, and then you just drop this in. It's supposed to read. I don't know if we fill it up to here, but
I don't know.
You didn't mark that when you used it last?
I've never used it.
Where's your
I've never
instructions?
used it.
We actually have more than one piece of gear that we've never used.
Yeah, there's a hydrometer at your house that was originally in this pile. This one came from Reed,
Oh, okay.
but Jamie has my other hydrometer, which I don't think instructions are with it anymore either. But,
I also have a, wait, is that the bottle capper thing up there?
Yeah,
Feel
that's,
it.
that's,
Feel,
that's one.
feel. I'm all excited.
That was stuff that Reed gave me.
So nice. Welcome to Northwest Brewmeisters, where we feel random women's hair.
I'm not random.
That's true, you're not random. You are.
I am far from random.
Although we should work that into the broadcast. Just women off the street. Hey, yo! What? Come here.
Can I feel your hair?
All right, sit down in this chair, head forward, and we're just gonna stroke your hair for 5 minutes.
Hooters and
And-
scooters.
And you're done. Thank you very much. Stop looking so traumatized. It wasn't that bad. Get
Here's a
out.
beer, go away.
Here's a beer. Go away. You can keep the glass.
Not even have to love a beer can. Here you go, go away.
I love a beer can.
Or dollar store special. Here.
Like, why are the police here? Hey, look, there's a random woman.
Hey, honey, can we feel your hair?
Come let us feel your hair. Oh, wow, that is quite the look.
A little weird.
I don't know, my hair is not very nice right now.
It's okay.
You can't even see my head shape.
Your head doesn't look shaved. Is that a wig? Oh, it's just from when you did it before. You would look okay if you weren't complete Sinead O'Connor. I had a friend who I kept trying to get her to do the Sinead O'Connor thing. She wouldn't do it. I had another friend who did do the Sinead O'Connor thing, and she actually looked pretty good.
I threatened Matt with that once, and he's like, okay. Took it all the way down my sills.
All right, we have 8 minutes left, so in 3 minutes, we need to put the other hops in.
But I'm a sucker, and I like to keep
Uh-huh.
Riley braiding my hair and whatnot.
Yeah,
Can't do that if you don't have hair.
that's true. It's
I
hard.
didn't do it. Oh, nice.
It's very hard to braid peach fuzz.
So I'm like, okay.
You
Well, I'll take
I
half of
thought I
it.
brought the other hop packets from out there to here.
No, they're still in there. They're
Good
still
throw.
in
I
that
brought
house.
one of them out.
Definitely. So we added 1.5.
I guess I didn't bring that one.
We got time.
I thought I
Don't
brought
worry. We got 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
Do 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 do.
Well, the thing is though, is he wants to get this right. You know,
Where are you guys now?
he's working towards. Did you find it?
No.
Huh.
I'm
What are you looking for?
99% sure I grabbed all three.
We're looking for a hops package.
Right on
Now this is the one that's kind of brown and red and blue, right?
Yeah.
It's not the green and, wait, there, it's right there. It's right there. Right there. Yakima Choi Chief.
Between the
That's
bottle and
all.
the box. Or the bottle.
Wow, does someone need new glasses?
I think I got a new favorite piece.
All right, ladies and
Bailey,
gentlemen,
stop for a minute.
we have a new request. We need you to donate money to my friend Steve to buy new glasses. One knife. Kniff.
That'd be right.
Got it?
Are you sure?
Ooh, look at that.
All right, we are open.
We got like a minute or so left, right? Minute and a half, maybe?
Yeah, a little less than a minute and a half.
All right.
It's got honey in it.
Oh, shake your booty.
Are Riley here
Shake
yet?
your booty. All right. This is such a horrible broadcast. I don't even have a chair anymore. I broke my chair.
Do you want a stool?
No, I don't want a stool. Leave me alone. Sitting on the
All
stool.
right, we got
He
1
broke
minute.
my chair. I didn't even know it was mine.
You could just.
How did we break said chair?
I went to get up and the arm just collapsed on me. That's all right.
For dining chairs.
I'm good. No, I'm good. Right here. Actually, the broadcast is over. We are almost done, folks.
Still frozen up as usual.
It is. That's all right.
Steph, are we cooking soon?
Yes, we're cooking soon.
What are we having?
Food.
Okay.
Trying to monitor the comments and see if anybody says anything. Dan said some things.
Yeah.
And then Dan left, and then it's been.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a 2.5 hour broadcast. What are we at? 2 hours and 36 minutes. It's a long
That's a
broadcast.
long broadcast.
All right. Oh, you want me to stir? Just in case? Dude, this stuff looks really good. It's kind of got a red color right now. Interesting.
All right, that's good right there.
Good. You're not gonna add that whole pack either?
No, I only wanted a half ounce.
Really? Why was that? Serious question.
Because I'm not trying to make it hoppy. I'm just trying to give a little bit of flavoring, but not, I don't want it too hoppy and with, hop aroma and.
Yep. No,
It's not an IPA, so that's why I don't want it, that's why I'm not trying to achieve super hoppiness by putting the hops in later at the boil and then not putting too much in there, so.
Okay. Very interesting. So you write that down? Half an ounce of
Yeah.
whatever it was at the.
I mean, I kind of eyeballed that down, so it might not be an exactly half ounce,
Yeah,
but
that's all
whatever.
right, man.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Hey, wait, sit down.
It's
Let's
a
sign
very
off, brother.
Okay.
All right. Hey, folks. So it's been like kind of this weird broadcast. I broke my chair.
Thank you for watching.
This is Stephanie.
We went rated
Yeah,
R
we
in the
can
first
see her. This
minute.
is Stephanie. Come on. This is Stephanie.
Let's just say hi.
Bailey, come here. Give me a hug.
Might as well. Just
Now
don't
be
be
careful.
Catch yourself on
Be
fire.
careful. Don't catch yourself on
Leave
fire.
her.
Don't knock things over. All right, this is Bailey. Sit down. You're fine. Right there. Perfect. All right, so this is a crazy broadcast, and it was not planned, and we did all sorts of things wrong. But this is going to be a
Amazing.
fucking amazing beer.
All right, I guess we're now officially,
Yes, we have hit R.
we're rated R.
All right,
I brought it
so
to R before it even
yeah,
started.
No, you brought the PG-13.
yes, you got us to PG-13. Point being, we're having a great time. Love you lots, kid. All right, and this is gonna be a great beer. So, like we always say, relax.
Don't worry, have a homebrew.
Yes.